Welcome, everybody, to Your Lore from Before, where I interviewed historied gamers with life stories. I said it backwards that time, but it's okay. I'm here with the Nathan Napalm. Napalm? Is that him?
I'll
Yeah.
accept it. I'll accept
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
And I think we've kind of known each other for a minute. I want to say
Yeah,
at least 1 minute.
at least a few minutes, honestly,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
there was definitely some discussion prior to bidding record, so that was at least a few minutes.
And you will never know what we said. It's too hot for YouTube. It's actually too hot for Twitter. That's how hot it is. Way too hot.
Yeah, too hot, too controversial.
Don't ask him about Cadbury cream eggs. He will go crazy. All right. So to start off, a little on the low end. Can you recall some of your earliest gaming memories?
Yeah, for sure. So earliest gaming memory. I had played some computer games that were in the best color, all green, and on some old Apple
Apple
PCs
IIs.
at school, and thought it was pretty cool. And then Christmas Day, when I was like, I don't know, 5, I opened this present, and I don't know what it is. It wasn't popular yet. It's a Nintendo. I don't know that. And I'm like, oh, cool. I got a computer, right? I got a computer. They're like, well, not really. It's not really a computer. So we were playing it. And I think everybody back then did that. Our kids did it when they first started playing games too. I was playing it like it was a Wii, like it was trying to
Yeah.
like take the controller all with me on this journey. And I tell you what, Super Mario Brothers, man. As soon as I played it, I was like, you know what? I didn't even know there were other games. I thought that's what this thing did, right? Like it played Mario, and I played it every day, every second that I was conscious and not in school or what have you. Brought all my friends over to see it. I literally was like the poster child to sell the Nintendo to all the other parents. My parents would have their parents over. We'd all gather around the TV, show them the Nintendo. And then my dad came home with The Legend of Zelda,
Oh wow.
and it was on. You know what I'm saying? Like once I fired that up, and I was like, you can go like up and down, and there's a map, and like, oh my geez, this is crazy. And that spiraled me into fantasy, right? And yeah, I've just always been obsessed with digital worlds. I actually enjoy digital worlds more than real life. I'm jealous that we can't just live, that like society can't be this like a video game where
How
everybody.
has nobody figured out magic yet? That's some bull crap right
We
there.
were lied to too. When we were kids, we were told flying cars, you know,
Yep.
computers on your wrist and all
That's
this other
kinda true.
stuff. It's a little true, but still though, not really, not really.
Yeah.
Not like we were thinking. Telekinetic, powers to control things, and you know what we got instead? We got AI to make billions of pictures of cats riding ponies. That's not fair. That's not a good trade off. I'm not happy with it.
Yeah, and the sad thing is that no one likes AI except for Drag, but no one really likes AI. They see like every time they see an AI post, they don't like it. Like if you've seen
Yeah.
those big corporations who they'll make a commercial with AI. I think Coca-Cola did one, maybe
Mm-hmm.
McDonald's did one, and there was huge backlash.
Backlash.
Huge.
Even crazier than that was Crimson Desert got caught that little paintings
Mm-hmm.
hanging up in castles and stuff. And by the way, there was millions of them. I figured it was AI, but I didn't care because it's just a painting on a wall. It's just
Right.
decorative. People flipped out. They had to remove them all. They had to add their own art. Like people, just that small of a detail on a wall, and it was worth it in my opinion because it was just like random paintings of all kinds of cool stuff. And I was literally walking through like castles and looking at all the pictures like, this is a great way to use AI. Nope, they had to shut it down. People hate it that bad.
I feel like they might have did that for Steam because Steam has like this like stuff where if you use AI, it's like you have to put it at the bottom, and there's
Mm.
this big thing that says, "Hey, this game used AI." That's not a good look, you know.
Yeah, even if you just use it like just for something minute, I would assume you'd still have to put that in there, and then everybody's going to assume the whole game's made in
Yeah,
AI.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, what
I
a
feel
mess.
they've backed it down a little bit. It used to be if you used AI for like prototype stuff, and then it was
Mm,
removed later on. They made you put it in, but I think they backed that down. But still, yeah, that's probably what happened. Take
yeah.
a educated guess.
Yeah, we're living in a anti AI world, which I can get behind because I see like it's well intentioned. Like we're trying to keep artists with jobs and all this kind of stuff, which I definitely support. But also, I think there's a good place for AI. I think there's a you know there's a place in the world for it. For little details that speed up development. I personally don't see a problem with it.
I feel like the only real good thing for AI, at least for us, is to make fun, just make a funny image of like,
Mm,
hey, how about can you generate Drac with two ponytails on his nipples, and then send
yeah.
that to Drac? You know,
That's
that's
the
the only
best.
good.
That's the best part of AI. That is definitely the best part, hands down.
Anything a little further than your
Sure.
childhood?
Yeah. Let's talk about the time that I just like. So I lived in this house with a bunch of other dudes. It was basically a party house, but we were
Yep,
also nerds. So
right.
we had built these tables along the wall to put all of our computers on, and we were playing Dark Age of Camelot, all of us. And it was kind of funny because it was it was like a party house and people were coming over getting drunk and like all the stuff that goes along with that may not be appropriate to talk about. But we were the owners of the house and we'd just be sitting there playing Dark Age of Camelot, nerding out, while there's this crazy party behind us. But I'll tell you a funny story was there was this girl who was interested in me, but I wasn't interested in nothing but making my little bit of money enough to pay for my bills and play Dark Age Camelot. I wasn't interested in females or nothing like that. I just wanted to play
Right.
my Dark Age of Camelot. Well, Steve, this girl goes to Steve, who lived there too, and she was like, "Hey, I'm interested in this guy. How can I get through to him? Because he just ignores me every time I'm over there because he's playing that game."
Yeah.
And Steve said, "Well, I will tell you this: if he even looks away from the game enough to even look you in the eyes to respond to anything you say, you've got a really good shot." And so this girl actually used that advice, and I actually did end up dating her. She was persistent. She would come over and try. But at first, I was annoyed. I was like, "Jeez, this girl won't leave me alone. I'm just trying to PvP in Dark Age Camelot here." So
So could you? I could just imagine that hasn't happened to me, but I could just imagine you're in a tense PvP fight. She's like, "Hey, you want to talk about crystals or something?" Like, no, I'm trying to win. I don't want to die.
it was kind of like that. Or and then she would try to pretend like she was interested in the game. She'd be like, "So
Oh,
what
that's the
was what
worst.
was that you're doing?" It's like, look, I can't be efficient and explain what I'm doing. Which actually, to be fair, she was accidentally training me to be a streamer. Now that I think about it, now that we're having this conversation,
Mm.
that was a little practice. I just realized she was actually helping me.
Wow,
Now that
that's
we
crazy.
really think about it, oh my gosh, that was the beginning of the Nathan
That was
Napalm.
the start.
That was it. No, but when I was young, growing up into a teenager, all the way up till I was a teenager, arcades, man. Like, loved going to arcade, loved the atmosphere, loved, finding that one game and sneaking in when I wasn't supposed to be there, because school and no other kids would be
Right.
there, trying to get good at the game so that on Friday nights when everybody was at the arcade, I could really make people waste their quarters by beating them up in Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat.
Huh.
Or just show off beating games like Die Hard Arcade was one when I was a teenager. I was really good at that game. I could like a few. I think it cost 50 cents at the time, but I might be wrong. But with 2 credits, whatever that cost, I could pretty much go through that game, and it was like it was like my show off. You know what I mean? Like some guys they bench press a lot and stuff. I just could beat Die Hard Arcade with 2
Well,
credits.
actually, Nathan, they call that a 1cc, a 1 credit clear.
Yeah,
So
one.
you
I couldn't do it in 1 credit. Two CC. I can do it in
oh
2 CC.
TCC. Okay,
Two. Yeah, yeah.
that's not bad though.
It's not bad. That's a
A
pretty.
buck, and it probably takes like an hour or 30
Yeah,
minutes to beat. Yeah.
yeah, probably. Yeah, somewhere between there. Yeah, about 30 minutes to an hour.
And that also was probably the beginning of your stream, a little bit of streaming, because
True.
people would gather around and watch you, and you'd be like, "Yeah, I'm about to get this guy over
Yeah.
here or
Yeah, I
whatever."
bet you didn't know about this move. I bet you know you can pick up his table and do the spin attack and clear the room with it, and stuff like that for sure. And I'd love to also tell you that I got a lot of women doing that, but I did not. Not even one.
Yeah,
Not even one.
I it's like I'm not a gym bro per se, but I hear people say that they work out and they get really huge muscles and they get noticed by dudes. The new dudes are like, "Oh, I love your fucking triceps or whatever." And then like I was hoping, maybe more female persuasion interest would happen, but
Well,
whatever.
I've never been a gym bro, but I can tell you that I know the feeling that they're getting from dudes being impressed by something that they have done. I do
Right.
know that I don't know what it's like for them to be like, dang, dude, those biceps, or man, that's a lot of weight you're pumping, or whatever it is that they say in those kind of environments.
Well, let's move on to. I kind of want to, I kind of miss arcades though. It's kind of a
Yeah.
shame that they've died, and everything. All arcades now, they suck. They have
Mm.
barcades, but they're
Yeah.
not as good, and it's
Yeah.
just not the same.
Yeah, like at the barcades, for example, this drives me crazy about barcades.
Hmm.
Nobody says nothing about drinking at the arcade. Like you're not allowed to put the beer on the actual arcade, but that's kind of the only rule. When I was a kid, you weren't even allowed to have a drink at it. Like you couldn't sit. They didn't want it sitting on the floor beside it. Nowhere. You drink your drinks over here. You play your games over here. And it was a big deal because you'd try to, sneak a little drink in because you'd be standing there playing Mortal Kombat for hours. You'd need a little sip of something. So you'd have it like in your jacket, or something,
Yeah.
And that alone, just that one detail, changes the whole atmosphere of an arcade. Just that. Not to mention, there's like nobody really there. Like even
Yeah.
it's like it doesn't work. That barcade, at least all the ones I've been to, there's not many people there. They're just there to drink. They don't care about the arcades.
The arcades, they may as well just be televisions playing Let's Plays
Yeah.
of the game.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. People might walk around, look at it. They might play a game or two, but I mean, nobody's like competing, or it's not like the new technology. We used to go to the arcade and there'd be a new machine. We'd be like, oh my gosh, let's see what the world of technology has brought us today.
Do you remember this arcade? I always saw this arcade, and I never played it, but I always saw it. It was like that. It was like a it was like a cowboy and like a hologram dome thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like you went inside of it.
No, it was like a dome that you would look at, and it
Mm-hmm.
was like a hologram of like a cowboy.
Oh, dude, yeah, I do know what you're talking about. And it's kind of old too, right? Like it's like
Yeah.
it's not like wasn't like a new late '90s technology. It was like an older thing, and it was one of those where I think it was basically like shoot them as they pop kind of thing, or something like that.
I think it was more similar to like Dragon's Lair, but I think it was
Mm.
like a real live acted person
Oh,
playing the cowboy or
oh wow.
something. Hold on. You know what? We have the power of the internet. We can
Let's
ask.
find out. Let's find out what that was. I may not know about this one.
Time Traveler.
Oh, I do remember that game. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nah, dude, I don't think I ever saw this game. Dude, I wish I would have known about this. So that is fantastic. This is exactly the vibe I was going for when I made MMO Cup. Exactly.
Uh
I loved it. I love it.
yeah. But yeah, this was do you have footage of it as a in the arcade? Yeah, it was
Yeah, I'd
this
like to see what the actual machine looked
there
like.
we
Oh,
go.
there it is. There
That's
it
what the
is.
machine would look
Oh,
like. And there'd be like little
wow.
holograms and it's even called a hologram.
Wow, that is cool. It's by Sega too, of course.
Yeah,
Of
but I would
course.
always see this in the arcades,
No, we never
and
had that.
I never put any money into it. I was like, that's cool, but I'm not playing it.
You know what? It looks like every Sega CD game ever made.
That is true.
It does. It
Just with more high fidelity at the
a
end.
little higher fidelity. Yeah, you can actually see the guy's face. Look at the guys. I love it. I love it. The little guy with the mullet, like,
sounds like you either have to play this on stream. I know people won't show up to it though.
but oh well. But, people did show up for this, then there's something wrong with the world. Like.
Hopefully one day you'll finish that Shinobi Sega Saturn game.
Dude, I did finish it on my own time. I did finish that game, and it is fantastic. It is. I highly advise everybody get you whatever means you have to do to play that game. Shinobi Legions for the Sega Saturn, just to see those cutscenes. You know what else had really good cutscenes that I didn't know? Because I played the Nintendo 64 version, and I had no idea this game had real cutscenes until recently. Mm-hmm. Sub-Zero Mythologies, man.
What? I think there were, yeah.
On the PlayStation, there was fully real people wearing hilarious costumes with hilarious special effects. It is that game is not good. It is not. But those cutscenes are so hilarious that it's worth all the pain to play. And it is included in Mortal Kombat Legacies. So you can play it right there in Mortal Kombat Legacy. I would like to see somebody make an MMO, okay? Mm-hmm. Please, somebody out there do this, okay? It will not do good. You will lose your entire butt on this deal. But it's worth it. Where it's real actors, okay? Where it's done just like what we just watched. But it's a fantasy, right? There was a game that is fairly.
Are we thinking of the same thing? Is it highlighted on the Sega Saturn?
It's exactly what it is. That as an MMO, they have got to do that. That would be. I would play it for sure as a joke, and I think that's all you would get. You would get people playing as a joke. It would not be successful. But if somebody just has a lot of money to burn and you just want to do something hilarious to bring humanity back together again one time for a good laugh, please do this. Please.
Yeah, we gotta get this
game.
What we're talking about.
It's so bad. It's like 2 frames per second. But you know what? This was an open world game. Mm-hmm. He's in a dungeon right now, but this game is going to probably show him out in the world. Here he is. This was an open world game. Like, that's crazy for the time.
Yeah.
There was some impressive. I mean, the game is not impressive. Let me say that. However, what they were trying to do is fairly impressive for the technology they were working with. Like, look at this. Please make an MMO that looks like this. Please. Oh my gosh. It can have this amount of frames and everything. You can make it entirely an AI. I don't care. Just make it seem like that. Look how bad. You know how like voice acting costs a lot of money for like MMOs? I imagine getting digitized actors is like way more expensive. Yeah, you only need Thor, and they can play everybody though. You know what I mean? We're not looking for quality here.
All right, John, you got to put on the mage outfit. Okay, I got to put on the mage outfit. Okay, turn to the left. Raise your staff. Okay,
On Tuesday, we need you to shave your beard because you'll be playing a beardless guy. We got to get all the scenes in for the bearded knight first.
Ooh, that's smart. Yeah, they have one guy for customization, and it's just like full beard, and then they shave off the middle, and then it's just sideburns, and then it's just a mustache, and then it's just nothing.
Yeah. And as you're going through that process of shaving parts of the beard to make different beards, you just got to get all the recordings in real quick, that you need for that.
Yeah.
And then superimpose the armor.
And then if you're a woman, if you want to play a lady, you only get the one customization. You don't get any other options.
Well, you could do long hair and then gradually shorter. Like
I feel like women would want more customization than just length.
Well, we could throw in some other stuff. We could stuff the front and back areas, with some toilet paper and give a little customization for that. Like there's some options we could go with. There's a few things we could do.
You're right. We're also not thinking about the men playing as women who want to be big bosomed,
which is the majority.
Big butts, which is
the majority. It is the majority.
There are, to be fair, there are like one or two sprinkled out there of ladies who want to play scantily clad, big bosomed ladies in video games, but it's mostly men.
My wife is one of them. So in my world, it seems like there's a lot of them, right? But there's not. I've played MMOs long enough to know. Look how cool this. Forget about the frames. This part right here with the castle. I think that looks awesome. Like legitimately, that makes me happy.
Now imagine he had like more than 2 frames walk animation.
Yeah, it would be actually cool. This would have been a hit. I think if this had better frames, I think this game would have been a hit. Because have you ever really sat down and played this game?
No.
There's a lot of good ideas here. It's the best hide-like game, and I know that doesn't say much. It's my favorite hide-like game. I think they're all pretty bad. But like,
one is a pretty low bar, to be fair.
Yes, it's an extremely low bar. And then there was also Super Highlight, which was also bad.
Only a little above Highlight 1.
Yeah, Super's a little bit of an exaggeration, but this is Highlight 3D. This is the best one. But yeah, it would be like it's randomized a little bit. So every playthrough is different because the items will be in different places. I've actually almost beat this game just out of nothing but morbid curiosity.
How far did you get? Do you remember?
Well, I remember you have to collect some kind of items, and I think there was 4, if I remember right. And if that's correct, then I got 3. It was something like that. It was like I was pretty close, and then I couldn't take it no more. My eyes were beginning to actually melt into my skull from the frame rate, and I had to give up.
Highlight does that to a person. Highlight does that to a person. Is there anything else that you did creatively, content creative adjacent before we started dipping into more MMOs?
Yeah, I did a lot of stuff. So me and Steve actually made a living for a few years doing animation under the name tacobuttfish for Newgrounds. Remember when Newgrounds was the cool thing? We worked for Newgrounds. We made a bunch of. Yep, there we are. This is me and Steve's earliest works, and we did that for a while. And where's it at? Right there. Once When I Was a Kid SE Special Edition. Right there. You see that one with the girl's face?
Yep. This nope.
No, up. That one's a little longer. Up there with the girl like smiling. Once When I Was a Kid SE. You see it there on the left bottom.
Oh yeah.
There we go. Click on that one. This is a short. This is a great one. This is a true story, by the way. Steve, by the way, before you start this, Steve told me this story in the car. We were just driving to grab cigarettes or something, and he told me this story exactly like it's going to be told here, but he wasn't joking. And I was like, let's go home and make a cartoon out of that. That is outrageous.
I should have done this, but whatever.
Listen, man, I've really got to tell you something. I've had this on my mind a lot lately, and...
That's so Steve.
Listen, man, just listen. I really got to tell you something. One time, when I was a little kid, I was friends with this girl named Kelly, and she was wearing these really short shorts, and she squatted down to tie her shoe. Now I noticed balls popped out of her shorts. And I don't know why I thought this, because I was just a little kid, but I remember thinking to myself, that's a nice set of balls.
You've already told me this story before?
Okay, on second thought, I don't think we can show that. I forgot that.
I'll have to blur out a section of that. Thankfully, we're not streaming.
I forgot they actually showed that. This was back in the day when there was no moderation on the internet.
Yeah,
I forgot
yeah, you
about
could just
that.
do whatever. I kind of miss those days. Though.
I do too.
I mean, if they show a little boob or a little, a pair of balls, it's not the end of the world. The kids,
Yeah.
they'll be fine. They play Fortnite. They'll live.
Yeah, there's worse things in the world than being exposed to that,
But you were able to make money off of this?
Yeah, we did this for now, we didn't make a lot of money.
Right.
We worked under the table at a late night restaurant that Steve now owns. So we did that, and that was it, though. We worked late night at that 5 times a week, and then all day we worked on cartoons.
Wow.
It was pretty fun. Living the dream. And I also did comedy. So I did some stand-up comedy. That's where the Nathan Napalm name comes from. Yeah, I did some stand-up. Only local, you know what I'm saying? Obviously never made it big, but did some local gigs, stand-up comedy, did some comedy bands. And that was kind of my stage name. So did that. Got to actually open for some fairly big bands back in the day.
Oh, that's right. You had kind of like a punk rock phase too.
Yeah. Mine was pure comedy, though. I didn't try to do serious, we're going to get the government. Mine was more just, it was comedic punk,
Yeah,
yeah.
I only enjoy it when the stripper is crying. That's not punk, but that kind of
that kind of thing. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
All right. Well, obviously, you're not going to have anything to say about what I'm about to put on the screen right now.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I don't know much about this.
Yeah, EverQuest, yeah. So, when did you start EverQuest? Do you remember?
Yeah, I definitely remember. So, I'd already played Ultima Online. Steve got me into MMOs. Mm-hmm. He showed me Ultima Online. We were in high school. Just, loved that game. Then, one day, randomly, somebody told me, hey, did you know there's a 3D MMO that's like Ultima Online? And I was like, no friggin' way. I don't think technology is at a point we could probably do that. And, and then there was, I had a friend, and he had come over and he said, hey, man, do you care? He had these buckets. He showed up at my house with buckets. All right. He was like, hey, man, do you care if I use your water and just fill these buckets up? Right. I was like, I mean, yeah, but what do you do? And he said, well, I've got this buddy. He's addicted to this game, and he doesn't have running water because he only works enough hours to pay for electricity, his internet, and for this game. And that's it. So I need to get some water. So I'm going to go over there and help him clean up and flush his toilets. I'm dead serious. It's a true story.
That's wild.
My brain was like, wait a minute, what is this game? Because it must be really good. Somebody's living this way just to play this game. It must be the best game ever made. What's this game? And he said, oh, it's called EverQuest. Lightbulb, this is the game I've been hearing about. Okay. This new 3D MMORPG. I'm still playing Ultima Online in 2D like a loser. Right. This guy's literally living like crap just to play this game, and I want to be that guy. So we get the water, and I'm like, hey, man, I want to go over because I want to check this game out, right? My computer wasn't powerful enough to run a 3D game, you know what I'm saying? So this is going to be a big investment. I needed to go see for sure that I was going to also live literally poop socking like this guy. Is it worth it? Right. So we get the water. We go to the guy's house. This guy's house was so bad. I'm talking about he had a little razor on his desk, and he would literally just shave his hair off right there in the floor. Just not even get up from his computer, just shave it. The hair just, laying around him. Absolutely disgusting house, right?
Oh my
We helped
God.
him flush his toilet. He was literally just using the bathroom toilet and leaving it until this guy, my friend, came over to help him flush it with new water, right? So anyway, I'm checking out this game. It's freaking, I'm like, dude, this is pretty cool. This is insane. This is definitely worth living this bad. That's what I was thinking, right? I was like, I get it. This is crazy. So I get the game. Oh, by the way, when the guy stood up one time while I was there, right? And he didn't have a shirt on, okay? And dude, his skin had formed to the sea. I'm talking about when he stood up, I literally seen his skin stretching
Oh my god.
It was crazy. It was the craziest thing I'd ever seen. But it made me, I was like, dude, I gotta get this game. So I didn't have a lot of money. I had kind of a crappy job, you know. I took a whole paycheck and I just went and got me one of them fancy 3D graphics cards. I get home, guess what? It doesn't fit in my tower. And by the way, I don't know nothing. I don't know about power supply units. I'm not following the rules at all. I don't know. I just think all I need is this graphics card and I can play this game. So it wouldn't fit.
To kind of interject, I had a similar thing happen with me with a graphics card because I wanted to play Alien vs. Predator. It was 3D, required a graphics card. I got this graphics card, I installed it, and it just didn't work at all. And I never got to experience the glorious 3D effects.
Did it break your computer, or were you able to go back to your old graphics card?
It didn't have it didn't have a graphics card, I don't think.
Oh,
but I was able to return it. I was still able to play games on. I think there was like some internal graphics card, some like on the motherboard. But yeah, I think that probably happened. It happened to me, and it probably happened to a lot of other people too.
Yeah, we had to learn that. You know, there was no Google. We had to learn
on
our
no
own.
Google back in those days. Damn kids with their.
There
Google.
was Yahoo. There was Yahoo, but it was not what you think. Yahoo,
and
you couldn't
Jeeves.
just. And Ask Jeeves, yeah. But we didn't depend on it like you do now, right? We didn't just think like go to Yahoo because all the answers weren't there yet. You know what I mean? People hadn't, you know, they hadn't started answering all the questions yet. So, you know, you really had to learn these things. I actually learned how to install the graphics card from the person I bought it off of at the game store. Like he told me, like, dude, make sure you grab metal so that you get all the static out of your hands. He showed me what it looked like inside the computer and how it snaps in. Like it's so complicated, but you know, I'd never done it, so it was complicated. You know, so anyway, it didn't fit, but I didn't care. I'm playing EverQuest. I already got the game. The game is sitting there, just you know, mocking me with these 3D graphics. Like all you got to do. Okay,
keep going. I'm gonna get something real quick.
Okay. So I'm just like screw it. I literally, and I was in such a hurry to play EverQuest. I had to have it. You know what I mean? Like I've spent this money. I'm playing EverQuest. I don't care. So I literally just didn't even do this fancy at all. I took a knife and just started busting the case out, peeling the metal back, just peeling it back so that the graphics card just hung out of it. Oh, look at that beautiful box art. Beautiful.
This just mocking you the entire time.
Mocking me. Just
look
absolutely.
Look at that beautiful embossment.
Is that the one that opens too? Is it got the open part? Oh, yes. There you go. Can you imagine looking at that and just knowing that you could play that? You just got to get through a couple of hurdles. So, yeah, my graphics card was just hanging out of this bent metal shard thing, but it worked. And then I found out another lesson about patches. So then I really still did not get to play it that night, but I did get to play it the next day.
Yeah. What do you remember what you mained back all those times ago?
So I think, and I might be getting this wrong because I deleted so many characters, but I think it was a caster. It might have been a wizard. That feels like something I would do. I think I wanted to start with something. I didn't want to go straight into tanking, you know, because it was like, this is a whole new world. You know, I'm going to a 3D game. I want to learn the game a little bit. So I think I made a wizard. I do remember what happened to my first character. I fell in water and I thought you couldn't get out. I thought that was it. And so I spent months playing EverQuest thinking if you fall in water, that might be the end of your character. You have to re-roll.
You didn't realize it was a hardcore game and that you had to hit page up to not get out of the water.
Yeah, I didn't know. I fell in the water and couldn't get out and was like, oh, well, I guess I got to re-roll. And then somebody told me, they were like, make a warrior. Because I was asking in chat and stuff like, hey, guys, I'm new to the game. What should I play? They're like, play a warrior. And I did. And that is the character that I played the most until that fateful day, which wasn't, unfortunately for me, I didn't play as long as most people in this community. I loved it because it opened the world of MMOs. But I didn't play as long as most people because Dark Age Camelot came out and I was out because I wanted that. Well, the graphics look crazy for the time, too. Dark Age Camelot had these crazy 3D graphics.
And capes.
And capes and war. I was looking for the Lord of the Rings experience. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I saw these videos, these really low res, videos on the internet of war. It was PvP, but I just saw like, wow, that's like Lord of the Rings. And that was it for me. Me and Steve did try to go back, and because he'd never played EverQuest 1. And I was like, dude, we should play that. That's a really good game. And I wish I would have played it longer. But they had already done the models we're seeing now. Lukeland was out. And I just thought my memory was wrong. We logged into the game and I was like, ooh, see how they're running right there? Steve wouldn't play it. He saw that run animation right there. He was like, nah, dude, I can't play this game. I can't do it. And we didn't know you could switch the models to the old. I didn't even know they were new models. I thought my memory was just wrong and that this is the way the game always looked.
It's funny. I also had a bad, at first, experience with Luckland because it came out, and I remember I played it the second it came out. And for whatever reason, my game had a bug or like my graphics card or I don't know, something didn't like Luckland or it just wasn't powerful enough. And everybody was naked. Everyone in the game was naked, and except for like plate armor. Like you would see that. So you have ogres like running around with like a chest piece and like no pants. It was kind of hilarious.
Oh, that is awesome.
But I would go around and I'd be like, "Don't fucking play Luckland. It sucks. Change your graphics and makes everyone's naked. What the fuck?
Bunch of perverts."
Yeah, this is a pervert game now. Game for perverts.
Yeah. That's hilarious. I thought you were going to say the flickering. Remember that? If your graphics card wasn't good, it would just flicker real bad, the sky or the ground, which is, I guess, still happens to this day, actually.
On the emulators, too, yeah.
Yeah, that was what I thought you were going to say, because I've seen that in other games where, you just get that flickering sky. It would give you epileptic seizures.
I had a lot of weird things happen that I've never heard anyone else talk about. I also, later on, I had a crappy laptop. And I guess sometimes it would get so overloaded, it would make the game slow down. It was actually like I was in the Matrix. Like it would be like, like really slow, and I'd jump really slow.
Yeah,
and I've never heard of anything ever like that happening in a video game since. So
that slowdown too that you're talking about, I've experienced it, and it's not just a loss of frame. It's literally the frames are there. It's just moving slowly. It's like it's processing the frames just very slowly. It's literally slow motion.
Do you want to talk about Final Fantasy 11 or EverQuest 2 first?
I want to at least talk about Final Fantasy 11 at least real quick, because everybody that played that game has to talk about it. I was going to try to leave it out because not a lot of people in our community played that game. It's so I don't talk about it much, but that game pretty much ruined my life as well. So I went from that. This is the MMO that dragged me away from Dark Age of Camelot for a few years. My favorite story about Final Fantasy 11 though is we had stopped playing it. We were playing other games. EverQuest 2 come out, yada, yada, all kinds of other. We had all these options now, and we hadn't played it in a long time. But it re-released on a console on the Xbox 360, right?
Wow.
But I had this girlfriend. It was kind of serious, and I was like, I'm not going to have time to play that. You got to really know life it for this game. I'm not going to be able to do that. So, I'm not going to get it. But I wanted to so bad. I wanted to know life this game. I had my Xbox sitting there, and there was just something. This game was meant for consoles. It really was. I just wanted to play it so bad. Lo and behold, a couple of months go by, and she starts talking about, I don't think this is working out, right? So I'm like, honestly, deep down, I'm like, oh, thank God. My prayers are answered, right? I'm going to get to play Final Fantasy 11. That was my first thought. So she's all like getting her stuff. And by this time, that was the first thing I did. I was like, oh, it's not working out? Cool. It's fine. It's going to be fine. We can be friends. And I literally got in my car, went straight to GameStop and bought Final Fantasy 11 and came straight home, popped it in, downloaded it, installed it. And she's like getting her stuff, right? And she's like, we bought these DVDs together. Who gets to keep them? I was like, you can take whatever you want. Just would you quit standing in front of the television? And, I played, and it was a great time in my life. I'm not going to lie. Me and Steve both dived right back into Final Fantasy 11 like it was, the early 2000s, and went wild and just played the snot out of it all over again. Love that game.
I love that story. I love listen, I don't think this is working out. I don't know if we're going to be able to. Yes, I could play 11. Yes.
Yeah.
Play
It was my
Let's
first
go.
thought. Yeah, I was excited. I was like, it's going to be fine. We'll be friends. I understand. And
yeah, I
got
really
my
care
car.
about your feelings. Yeah, whatever. Final Fantasy 11. Yes.
Yeah. It really, and legitimately, I would do that trade again. I'm not saying I would divorce my wife. Okay, I'm just saying exact scenario. Get to replay that moment in my life again. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I would go back now. If I got to redo this, I would go back to right when it launched and just been like, "Hey, this ain't working out." Like we should just go ahead and end this now and get the game immediately.
Right.
Do it a little faster. I'd had like 2 more months to play it.
Final Fantasy 11, you played it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I don't know the exact time frame, but also you played a lot, or at least a decent amount of EverQuest 2 to some degree.
Yeah, that was definitely me and Dave's game we played together.
Dave?
Yeah, Dave was huge into it. Steve was too, but me and Dave continued playing it much longer, for a longer period of time.
Right.
That was a great game. Especially at launch, and like the first few expansions, even like EverQuest 2 was a really good time. Never did end game, you know what I mean? We just did all the normal content, ran dungeons, grouped up with people, made several characters, just the normal the plebeian version of playing EverQuest 2, but had a lot of fun with it.
I feel like I'm in kind of the similar boat. I really liked EverQuest 2 when it came out. I think I played it pretty much around launch. And the most thing of accomplishment that I did was I did the armor quest. The armor quest that you have. I did the armor quest, which was kind of a challenge. I had to get the right people to go to the right places to do it. But a lot, we just pretty much just like hanged out in our like little shitty apartments most of the time, and we just chilled there, and we would look at the weird potted plants that we had because we bought some edition of the game. It was really weird, and it was kind of weirdly social for some reason for me and my friends at the time.
You're saying it was antisocial?
No, it was social because we would just sit in our, like, I would give my friend permission to go into my apartment or whatever, and we would just sit in there and like just hang out and chill, like this wouldn't be like virtually. We would do this in person. Like, hey, we're gonna meet up, we're gonna land, and we're just gonna chill in these apartments. Maybe we'll do some dungeons, but it was just a lot of just hanging out in those apartments. It was really a bizarre time.
That is interesting. Maybe it had to do with housing was kind of a newer
housing
concept,
was brand spanking new too.
Yeah.
Because we can place a potted plant. This is crazy.
Yeah, and grow them. And you could grow them and actually harvest them, some of them, or stuff like that. I didn't get into I thought the housing was cool in EverQuest 2, but I didn't go crazy about it. You know what I mean? I just threw some stuff in there because you would get rewards. There'd be housing stuff, so just kind of throw it in my house and move on about my life. But I thought it was really cool. I just didn't partake in it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Very much, anyway.
I do really like your and Steve's story. You seem to have a decent amount of stories about, or at least a story about EverQuest 2, about being halflings in the Bobbleshire.
Yeah. We still make a lot of references that Steve will literally make a reference to that all the time. But yeah, we just decided we were going to make these halflings and stay in the Shire. We weren't going to leave. And I don't remember the exact details, but there was some kind of way you could inspect somebody and it would tell their playtime or something. Because I remember we would see people running through the Shire to like turn in quests or sell their stuff. And we would run up to them in roleplay and be like, tell us what it's like outside the Shire. And they'd be like, you can leave, like the zone line's like right there. And we'd be like, no, we can't leave the Shire. And I remember people would literally, whatever that was, that they would realize that we really had been playing this absurd amount of time. And they'd be like, guys, and they would try to, there would be people trying to talk us out of like, come on, dude, just like walk over here and walk right through there. And you can leave this. There's a whole game here. Like you cannot just stay here. There's no content. This is not the game. You got to come see the game. It's pretty hilarious.
We're not brave enough. It's too scary out there.
It's too scary. We can't leave the Shire. Yeah. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's so good. It's kind of a shame. There's not many MMOs. Aren't really a place for Steve to really flex his role play. Powers.
It's true, and he's very sad about it too. He's been looking for that big role play MMO his whole adult life, because the last one that was super role play heavy, where he could practically do whatever he wanted. He was an author. He ran a bar, was Ultima Online, and he loved it. He treated it like, he ran his bar, his tavern, I should say, in Ultima Online like it was a real job. Like he would even tell his real job, like, I have to be off by 6 because I work another job. And he was talking about running his tavern in UO.
They were like, man, he's working 2 jobs. He's really working it pretty rough over there. Meanwhile, he's in Ultima Online.
Hilariously enough, because of that lie, the boss at that job, this is a true story. I know I got a lot of crazy stories, but they are all true. His boss at that job, because I worked there too, she thought he was such a great, like, hardworking, like, go-getter guy, which we were not, but because of this other job that he did and all this, she actually hooked him up with her daughter, and he ended up marrying her.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it didn't last long. It was like a 2-month marriage, right? But yeah, that led to him getting married, actually. She was like, well, this guy's such a good guy. There's so rare these days for there to be such a great guy like this.
Was this the same lady that took all of his like rare anime DVDs and stuff, or was that someone else?
Okay, so this has happened to Steve a couple of times. He's lost all of his collection. One time he sold them all to go be with like a high school sweetheart. Okay.
Yeah.
That might be what you're talking about. He sold everything to get this money so that he could move to Hawaii to be with his sweetheart. And then she just was like, nah, never mind. And he lost his entire collection of everything. Like, he sold all his games. He sold all of his possessions, basically. Yeah. So I assume that's what you're talking about. That was his only time he was ever married. And so when he makes an ex-wife joke, that's who he's talking about. But he just came over to my house, actually. And we were playing games and having a good time. He came up for the weekend, and he was like, you know what? I don't want to go back. And he didn't. He didn't go back. And that was the end of their marriage.
Wow. I was thinking of another story, but now I'm thinking of it, I think that was you. And I'm pretty sure it was you when they called, I think a lady called, an ex-girlfriend or wife called, I believe you, and they were like, go hang out with your whores or something. And you were
that was her. That was the ex-girlfriend, yeah.
Oh, really?
I didn't want to go that deep into detail, but she did call and say that. I was going to leave that part out because of what she said. But yeah, that was the story. And he was like, I'm not going back. I'm just staying here. And he never seen her. To this day, he's never seen her again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to Steve. He's living his best life now.
Yeah. I don't think he regrets it at all. I think he made the right decision.
I think he might have lost some stuff from that. I think he had some stuff over there.
Oh, sure. That might have been what it was, because he didn't go back. So whatever was there stayed. He did not go back. He started his life over. We both started over. I started over one time too. I just left everything and just started a new life. I still joke about it. I'm like, well, I guess I'll just start a new life. Like,
so you pulled a Steve. You pulled a Steve.
I did. Mine was a little less dramatic. I just came home from work, and my dad taught me when I was young. He said, if a woman ever shaves her hair off, it's dangerous. You're in danger. Right. Now, whether that's true or not, I'm not trying to, that's just what I was taught. All right. So I'm a young man, I'm like 18 years old. I got this girlfriend who is staying with me, and I come home from work and all of her hair's in the bathroom trash can.
Right.
And I remember thinking, I've got a Sega Saturn. I've got my whole Sega Saturn collection. I've got my Super Nintendo, my PlayStation, all my childhood games. I've got all this stuff. But I don't know when she's coming back home, right? And I don't know what's happened that has caused this. So I just got in my car and started a new life. I grabbed a couple of clothes, I think, and just hit the road. Just started over.
You left your Sega Saturn there?
Yeah, I left everything. That's why I don't have some of the things from my childhood, right? Like you'll hear me say that sometimes, like, oh man, I wish I still had that because I used to own that. But that's why, because I left everything. I just started a new life.
Wow.
So I don't know what would have happened if I would have stayed. I might have.
It's hard to say. It could have been fine. She's like, I'm feeling quirky. I'm feeling like shaving my head, or you could. I would not be talking to the Nathan Napalm, and you'd be dead.
It's true. I did have a friend come back later and tell me. I don't know if this is true or not. I did have a friend come back and tell me years later that she actually just joined the military. So maybe she was prepping. Like I don't know.
Wow. I'm sure a lot of men envy you, because there are probably some men in really bad relationships, and they wish that they could just go out the door and just leave everything behind.
If there's somebody listening to this right now in that situation, I want to have a special message for you. Okay. Get your Sega Saturn. Or whatever your Sega Saturn is.
Sega Saturn is whatever the equivalent of that may be.
Yes. That's the only regret I have. I should have grabbed a couple of those things, because some of that stuff was worth a lot of money. Panzer Dragoon Saga, that's worth like thousands of dollars now, and I left it. It was just laying there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
my landlord got it, I guess.
Some every day, especially on this podcast. You never know.
Anyway.
So we're going to transition to what probably a lot of people know you for. F-Word Online. No, Pantheon Rise of the Fallen.
Yeah, for sure.
So where did you hear about Pantheon, or when did you first find out about Pantheon?
Yeah, I had this routine where, I don't know, every week, every month, I would just literally type in old school MMO RPG, or something like that, and Google it, right? Just waiting for somebody to make it. And one day I did it, and it came up with the results, and it was Brad McQuaid's Pantheon. And this was after I'd already found out about, I'd already put some money into what's the Camelot Unchained. But that wasn't really meeting my whole vision, right? Because they were like, we're full PvP and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, it's closer to what I want. But then I saw Brad McQuaid, Everquest, right? Like, oh, he's back, baby, right? So I saw that. I could not shut up about it, right? I was so excited that this was a thing that was happening. Of course, I thought it was like a couple of years away, right? Like 12 years ago, So I was so hyped that I wouldn't shut up about it. My wife literally told me, you should probably make a YouTube channel so that you can tell people that care about this, to be honest. Because she didn't want to hear it no more.
Yeah. And that started, I feel like you were making videos pretty frequently back in those days about Pantheon. And like they would be like, hey, Pantheon, like we ate bread today, and we would talk about Pantheon. It's like bread is in the game now, blah blah blah.
Yeah, because they're eating bread, they're sustained. Therefore, it's coming even sooner than we thought, or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like looking for cryptic messages and everything they said, and all kinds of theories, and just going buck wild, just so hyped.
And
look what it used to look like too. Look at that.
I know. I had. It's funny. My videos about Pantheon, or at least I made it like a video essay about Pantheon about how it was the last bastion, but I took it down, or I didn't take it down. I unlisted it because it had these graphics and Taehoe was still on the team.
Yeah.
And I didn't want people to just come in there and be like, fuck this game, which is what you get anyways with Pantheon. You always get a certain amount of people who come in and, you know, I kind of understand because they just got burnt a little bit. You know, they thought the beta or the alpha was coming in 2019 or 2020 when it didn't. And they, you know, but that's just the nature of indie MMOs, man.
Yeah, I think Pantheon took a lot of battle scars so that other people would not do it again. You know, I think it really did, being one of the first old school MMOs trying to be made and trying to live up to that almost impossible kind of level of expectations. I think they've taken a beating, and you know, I do think, you know, hindsight's 2020, right? So, you know, it's not like they could have known this then. And you know, so I'm not saying this in a way to like, shame on you, Visionary Realms. But, you know, I think they should have scoped it down back then in like 2016. I know Brad McQuaid, you know, back in the day prior to Pantheon being this, it was a scoped down project. You know, I just think, honestly, if I'm going to be completely honest and hurt people's feelings a little bit, if Brad McQuaid were alive, this game would be further along. It really would be. It would be further along. He would have made cuts and did what needed to be done to get this game in the hands. There's no way this game wouldn't be launched by now if he was alive. That's my personal opinion. But I do like to sleep at night thinking that there is an alternate universe out there that Pantheon is released and it looks like that. And it's everything we dreamed it would be. And Brad McQuaid is still alive in that parallel universe. And we're all just having the time of our lives right now. And I probably lost my job. I'm probably poor. Probably my family left me behind. But I'm probably happy also.
Well, let me pull you with a conundrum.
Okay.
That version of Pantheon exists, but Steve and Dave are dead.
Oh. You know, I think that Steve and Dave will understand that, you know, there's... I'm just joking. Yeah, and it may be, you know, like, you know, but there's an infinite amount of universes out there, supposedly, according to the theory. So there's one where that happened. There's one where not, where we're all three playing it together. And, you know, and we all still met and we're in a guild together and we're doing in-game content right now because the game's been out, you know?
And you have free time. Actually, Pantheon was so successful that we're all big time streamers. We make so much money. We don't have to work full-time ass jobs.
Right.
We can just play Pantheon all day long and still enjoy it.
We're no-lifing it. There's a bottle filled with pee sitting right here because I wouldn't even get up to use the bathroom that's right across the hall. You know, that world is out there, you know, according to modern science.
Modern science. Let's get those scientists on the horn. But yeah, you were one of those like early key like creators facets. I don't know what you want to call it.
Yeah, Basgrim was already there, but he had only made a couple of videos. You know, he had done the one at PAX East and a couple of follow-up videos when I started. I actually didn't even know about Basgrim until I started. I didn't even know I hadn't found him. I found him through making content myself, and then YouTube algorithm started showing Basgrim to me, and I was like, oh, there's somebody else out there. You know, there was that, oh gosh, I feel so bad. I can't think of the name of that. There was the podcast weekly Pantheon show with the fans, have Pantheon in the name.
Stands in the Fire?
No, it was before them. Yeah, they came after me. Gosh,
was it like Voices of Terminus?
Voices of Terminus. That was it. So that was the most watched Pantheon content when I came on the scene. And I purposefully, because they would just like go live and talk about whatever news, right? And I'm not dogging them. I love those guys.
Right.
But I wanted to make content that felt like a content creator was making it, and I did the best I could. I could, it's pretty cringy now, but I was trying to make official, kind of fancy. You could see I'm doing some zoom ins and, all this stuff. Cause I wanted to make something that made it feel like there was, a person who was going to dedicate their life to this game, which I had every intention of doing, had every intention of dedicating all of my free time to Pantheon. Cause I thought it was going to release in at least 5 years, worst case scenario,
Right. And obviously that
Obviously.
happened.
Yeah, we're well past double that now. But it is an early access. I mean, we can play Pantheon. It could be worse. It could have got canceled. It could have, lots of, and I don't know if Monsters and Memories would be here if it weren't for Pantheon. I really feel like it wouldn't. I think Pantheon really did pave the way, even if you don't like Pantheon anymore because of the art style, because of whatever. I think whatever game you're starting to levitate towards, it still exists because of Pantheon, in my opinion.
And I'll say this. I think Pantheon is a better game than Duke Nukem Forever.
Yes. I think we're 100% getting a better product at the end of this, at the finish line, than we got with that one, for sure.
And less poop throwing. Although maybe that would make Pantheon better. I don't know. Maybe for you.
And don't forget about, what was that game called?
Ashes of Creation?
No, but that's an even better example. I would have not called that. In a million years, I would have never said Ashes of Creation is going to get canceled and Pantheon will not. That would have not been on my bingo card. Would have never thought that was going to happen. I thought for sure Ashes was coming out. I would have actually said it's more likely the Ashes is coming out than Pantheon. Because Pantheon had some rough things, public facing, happened a lot. Yeah. Right. Whereas Ashes kind of kept, lots of stuff was happening, as we know now, but they were keeping it behind the scenes. It wasn't as public facing,
Right. And I kind of feel bad for the Ashes, like diehard people, because I think some people spent a lot more money than a lot of us VIPs did.
Agreed.
And, I don't regret my VIP pledge. There's that Pantheon kind of like connection through line where I wouldn't know anyone at SGL or you or anything if it wasn't really for Pantheon per se. Say what you will about the game, but it does bring people together sometimes.
Which was the whole goal, right? Like that was the Pantheon's OG promise, was socialization, meeting people, having a good time, and it has delivered on that, and it continues to still deliver on that, in my opinion. And that's great, because that hadn't happened to me in an MMO in a long time. Maybe early days EverQuest 2 might have been the last time that happened, because Vanguard was such a failure.
Yeah.
That I'd never really met people in that game or became friends with people,
Well, speaking of friends, do you remember what happened to make you join or Pantheon Plus at the time? Pantheon Plus, now Steady Group Live.
Originally it was Minus, right? So me and Minus were, budding content creators, and we both were really ambitious, and and I really like Minus, still do. We still text every once in a while. I actually bought a laptop off of him one time, and I would consider Minus one of a really good friend of mine to this day. And I really liked his style. I liked how professional. He was way more professional than I was. And it was kind of gave me something to shoot for. I want my content to be as nice and smooth and well produced as his. But then through Minus, of course, I met Drac, and through Drac, I met Daimlos, and really all of you guys, right? Kind of through that portal hole. Because prior to that, it was just kind of me and the people in chat, my subscribers, which met a lot of people there. I'm still friends with Mugen, lots of people from that. But Yeah, minus definitely was my Pantheon Plus, which is now known as Static Group Live, and then Drax just a great guy. How can you not like Drac? And Daimlos, come on.
How can you actually like him?
Yeah, I've got some great, hilarious content starring Daimlos coming up my next stream next week. By the way, super excited.
Oh, I can't
excited.
wait. I can't wait. I'm already hyped. I don't know what
Starring
it is.
Daimlos.
I can't wait.
It's good. You're not going to believe it. We're about to do something live that I don't know if it's ever been done before. I don't know that it's ever been done before. I've never seen this. I've never heard of anybody doing what we're about to do. It's going to be epic. So look forward to that.
Well, breaking news. Turns out I thought you were just doing Wednesday streams. Turns out some of the secrets, some secret backend stuff's coming forward.
Some beans are happening, and you guys are not going to believe what we've managed through the possibilities. This would not even have been possible to do something like this 10 years ago. You know what I mean? This is something cutting edge technology that we're able to pull off what I'm about to show you guys next Wednesday.
I hope all this hype and it's just Daimlos falling over in his chair.
Well, that does. Dang it! Now I got to come up with a new idea. Thanks a lot. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's so good. All right. Do you remember what early content you did with SGL? I know later on you did like the 101. I don't really know what you did early on though.
Yeah, so it still exists on my channel, and probably, I doubt they deleted it, it's probably still on SGL as well. Me and Minus did these, gosh, I can't remember what it was called, but it was throwback video games, right? So we did like Super Mario Brothers, and we had this cool idea where I would make a whole video, he would make a whole video. It'd be about the same topic, right? And then we wouldn't see each other's projects, right? But it would be based off of the conversation that we both recorded. So we would do a podcast kind of like this. We talk about it, and then we both take that footage and do our own thing with it on our own channel, right? So you get two pieces of content from the same podcast. You know what I mean? And it was really cool. We did Mortal Kombat. We did Super Mario. I can't remember what we called that, but we had a fancy little name for it. And that was my first collaboration, actually, I ever did. I'm pretty sure.
That's really cool. I kind of wish this sounds like something, if someone else wants to do this, or maybe I'll do this in the future, where two people come in like, hey, we're gonna do a video about Super Mario, and then not based on a recording, just in general, then they both bring those videos into a call, and then they both watch each other's videos. That could be pretty good.
That would be pretty good. And they react. And that's that video. Right. And then, dude, you bring on other guests to watch the video of their reaction, to react to the reacting to the content that was made. This goes forever. You know,
this basically goes on forever. And then you get the audience involved. You say, hey, you want to react to, put it in there, we might throw it in the next episode.
Oh my gosh, you just created the content loop paradox. It never ends. And is it useful to anybody? I don't know, but does that matter anymore? I don't think it matters anymore.
It doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter anymore if it's useful or not.
The usefulness is not part of the equation anymore. That's old school. That's 90s talk right there.
But I'm trying to think of other SGL stuff.
The 101.
Yeah, you did the 101. There was that hilarious story about Minus leaving Pantheon Plus and giving the keys to Drac and Theric.
Yeah, and entrusting me, like, Nathan, I need you to make sure, because they're just starting to stream and all this, and I want to go smooth. I need you to make sure everything's smooth for them and help them out. And then we decide to stream a game with pure nudity, boobies flopping everywhere. I was literally just sweating that whole stream, like freaking out that they were going to get banned on their first stream.
That whole video is basically like a cringe pony skit.
Yeah, Sparrow was there too. Sparrow was also there.
Yeah, it's amazing how like involved Sparrow was back then, because I know you and her played a lot of and Bounty.
And Bounty Code.
Bounty and Sparrow, they're combined. You can't separate them. You have to get both of them.
Bounty
P99.
Bounty Code was one of the original Lords of Napalm, like highest tier supporters. And when the game was still in what were they called? What were the early access or not early access? Sorry, pre-alpha.
Mm-hmm.
When it was still in pre-alpha, somebody had told me that Bounty was in a dungeon in Pantheon, right? And I didn't know where he was in the dungeon, but I was with another group, and I'd never played with him before. Had never even heard his voice. So I just shouted down into the dungeon like, "Thank you for your highest tier membership, Bounty Code." And he said something funny back, and that was our first interaction ever.
Wow.
Besides comments on YouTube,
Yeah, but that's not the same.
It's not the same. That felt like we met in real life, kind of,
Yeah, I mean, that's basically real life. You saw each other in a video. Yeah, basically real life.
Yeah. Basically, basically the same thing.
And then you were on the After Dark for a bit.
Yeah.
After Dark's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Pre or post Nathan, be sure to comment which era was the best. Obviously, pre-Nate. Obviously, with Nathan era is probably the best era.
But to be fair, I wouldn't say that I was the highlight of After Dark. I would say that everybody put forth the same amount of ridiculousness for that show. I just rode that pony. You know what I mean? Like I just rode right along with it. They were definitely they've always had a great cast of personalities for After Dark.
Right. And I feel like it wouldn't work as well if you just had 5 boring dudes in Drac.
Yeah. Like it would be a totally different thing, There'd be no reason to even call it After Dark, honestly. You gotta get somebody, who, pushes the envelope to that point of almost bannable, but doesn't go over that line.
I mean, you're right. I think I am a good contendant because when you're really bad when Drac leaves a comment in the Discord the next day, he's like, "Hey, I think you went a little far last night on After Dark."
Yeah, if Drac never says that to you, then honestly,
you need to push a little harder.
Yeah, you need to go a little harder because that should be part of it, right? Like, as every once in a while, Drac has to tone you down, or even worse, bring the stream, to like, coming, we'll be right back, and then have a little conversation with everybody. Like, guys, we need to calm down. Like it's getting a little out of hand.
Were you there when that happened with S and Sarah? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I've been in a few awkward kind of situations before, offline, where it's like, guys, I've seen content creators actually be offended from stuff we said, but they keep it to themselves until the stream is over, and then they're like, "Hey, so and so, you said this during the stream, and I'm mad, and I may not ever be on the stream again." I've seen it. I've seen it happen. It's like, you know what? That's part of content creation. In my opinion, that happens,
That's happened. That's happened to me as obviously a much smaller channel, but I've had people who were like pretty diehard fans, and they were showing up for every stream. But I said like one thing, and then they're like, "That you crossed the line. I'm leaving your Discord. I'm unsubscribing. Blah 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 blah." That's just the nature of the game.
Yeah,
'cause I feel like sometimes the viewers will put people on they'll put the streamers on or the content creator on a pedestal, and then they see something that cracks that little pedestal, and they're like, "I thought this guy was perfect. What the frick, y'all?"
Yeah, and that is a regret I have from early content creations. I waited a little too long to show my real personality. I was trying to be all professional for a long time there and just like state the facts or give opinions and, be very, and then I I eventually was like, hey, I want to do something fun too. So I started doing stuff like the Cringe Pony, what turned into Cringe Pony. I started doing puppets and stuff. And,
Mm-hmm.
that was shocking to a lot of people from my channel. Just suddenly have a puppet singing terribly, It was shocking. And I remember I lost a lot of subscribers, but I needed to do that. It was an outlet that I had to pursue.
I mean, I kind of get it too, where if I really wanted to, I could play backyard baseball in my coach persona, and I could just make a channel entirely dedicated to that. But I want new stuff. I want to try
Yeah.
new stuff. I want to be pigeonholed into this little corner. Like I'm sure a lot of people have told you like, well, you should just play P99 or you should just play Monsters and Memories. But we both want a little bit of variety. We don't want to be just stuck playing the same game for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, and if people aren't there for me, then what value am I bringing the internet? Right? None. So, people that are there for me, regardless of what I'm doing, right? That's what I want, So because things change, right? Pantheon could be canceled, Monsters and Memories could be canceled, and if we just put all of our eggs in this one basket, we got to start over now. You know what I mean? And even besides that, just you have to enjoy what you do. And to enjoy what you do, you got to mix it up sometimes, or else it begins to get monotonous and boring,
Yeah, I kind of sympathize with a lot of streamers who like all they do is play Sea of Thieves or all they do is play Minecraft or whatever.
I agree.
And I feel like you get consistent viewership if you like really stick to one type of content. And I feel like YouTube and like TikTok, it's also kind of sad because they kind of really push that right now, where it's like, and it works for some people because there's this guy who's like a pharmacist and he likes talking about all the different medications. He like visiting different pharmacies and stuff, and that works for him. But as for someone who's like, hey, I'm playing Pokemon Go, that's all I'm doing is playing Pokemon Go. You're gonna hit that threshold, and you're just gonna get so burnt out in the long run.
Yeah, and eventually, like that, games they go through cycles, and like we were just actually earlier watching a Final Fantasy 11 video from Mr. Happy, right?
Right.
This is a guy who has 250,000 subscribers, okay, who makes Final Fantasy 14 content majority, right? That's his game, and not talking bad about him because he's done great, but also his videos now get like 3,000 views. And this is a guy who is making a career, right? 3,000 views isn't terrible, but for him, with 250,000 subscribers and used to get hundreds of thousands of views, right?
Mm-hmm.
Final Fantasy 14 is kind of hit a lower level at the current point right now, where very few people show up to his stream. It's just that hype is gone, and I just don't want to be that guy, right? Like, I want to play what I want to play. And if it's Pantheon, then cool. If it's Monsters and Memories, cool. If it's Zelda, because a new Zelda came out, cool.
If it's that hologram cowboy game, cool.
Yeah. If it's Shinobi Legions and we're just watching it for really bad cutscenes, have a little fun. And that, when I did this full time, that was a huge problem. Was like I couldn't afford to do what I wanted to do. Not to say I didn't also do what I wanted to do, but sometimes I just wanted to play the new Pokemon game. But I couldn't because I would feel guilty because nobody wanted to watch that. It didn't really fit my audience, right? So I'd have to play off stream. But then I would feel guilty because it was like I could be, I'm being a loser right now. I should be streaming. I shouldn't be sitting here playing Pokemon by myself like a child, and it really almost ruined video games. I'm not going to lie. It almost ruined video games to where it was like, I can't enjoy a game unless I'm somehow turning this into content,
Right. It sounds like you almost hit that threshold that a lot of like streamers and content creators hit, who just like, I'm just doing Path of Exile 2. I'm just doing just this one game or just this one thing even.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, also, I think I've heard there's like some screwery happening with YouTube and its algorithm with like shorts and videos right now or something, and
Yeah.
restricted mode. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, so YouTube is going through something right now. I don't know what it is, but their studio was broke for a little while there. They got that fixed. That was pretty recently. And there's a lot of channels getting banned right now,
Really?
pretty rapidly. I know that because my horror channel got banned.
Oh, it got
And
banned.
yeah, we're fighting it right now. They demonetized the entire channel. They threatened to shut it down, and we're fighting YouTube right now to get the right to that back. And what they're blaming us of, we have never done. They're basically saying that all of our content is mass produced, which is impossible because it's got original artwork. Not all of it. We use AI for animation. We use AI a lot, but we draw the characters ourselves and the backgrounds, and then we use AI to mix those to make the scenes, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's my voice. I was recording once or twice a week the entire story. Sometimes I wrote the story. Most of the time, my partner that also helps me run the channel does most of the heavy lifting for it. Mostly he wrote them, but it was always my voice. And we're not, it was not low effort. It was like tons of animations, like tons. It's individual scenes for every single thing. It's like a very high production AI channel, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were using AI as a tool, but we're being treated as though we did nothing. Like AI just runs this channel, which is not true at all. So we're fighting that, but there are lots of other people getting banned. I know this because I'm fighting that with that channel. I'm seeing other people like coming and telling me they're banned and etc. So something's going on. There's a shakeup at YouTube right now. I think gaming is okay though. I don't think they're getting affected from everything I've seen.
Yeah, that's really interesting about you and your horror channel, as Diamonds likes to
For
say.
yes.
Yeah, it's crazy. I imagine I don't know if you heard about this, but there was this guy who had it wasn't AI generated. I mean, maybe it was, but he had a program that would just constantly churn out videos, and he had like I want to say like 1,000,000 videos uploaded, and it would just be like tech support stuff, like, hey, like, how do you do this, like, Pythagoras forum, or I don't even know, just like
Yeah.
high
I
end
did
like
hear about this.
programming stuff. Yeah.
And it just went through a ton of them. Like, oh, you got the blue screen of death. Oh, you got this. And it was just running through those. I do remember this. Yeah. And he was just absolutely just churning them out as max. There's a maximum to how many videos you can do a day. And he was doing that, whatever it was, whatever that is, every single day, back to back to back. And none of his videos got a ton of views, but zoom out and he was getting a lot of views. You know what I mean? Which is cheap.
If you time 50 times like 1,000,000, that's
Right.
50 million.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, and for no reason. That's the kind of things YouTube needs to like target and remove, right? Because there's a lot of that, like shorts, TikTok, all media right now is getting overloaded with actual trash, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And something has to be done. So
Right.
me being stuck in the web of that to fix it, no problem, because I totally understand this is a problem that needs to get fixed. And you're going to snag some innocent people while doing it. And that's fine. I'm not mad or angry about it. Like, hopefully they're fixing that problem. And I'm cool with, I will say this, though. They take all your money. So, we had a really good prior month before we didn't get that money. They took it. So that's not fair. We earned that money. You took money from the past. They took all of it, and they're even threatening to charge us money.
Oh my God.
So it's quite a mess. But once again, I'm not mad because I know we're not guilty, and it will eventually work itself out. So no problem.
Another thing that's kind of screwy is just like shorts in general. Because I don't know if you probably noticed this too, where a short, unless it goes kind of viral and it gets like 50 or 100,000 views plus, it'll hit a threshold. It'll hit whatever it's going to hit, and it'll just stop dead in its
Dead.
tracks. It won't get a single more view after that
Yeah.
threshold for whatever reason.
Yeah, and anything out there is going to grab a view here and there, So it's cutting it off. It's literally just being like, that's enough. We're never going to show this again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, unless it goes viral, like the
unless it goes
Baldur's
viral.
Gate short, because that one consistently gets like 300 views every day or every week, or I forget what it is, but that consistently, even though everything else, all the other shorts on my channel, that just it's at that threshold, just stops.
Yeah, I definitely know exactly about that. Yeah. It does seem like if you keep at it, that threshold slowly grows sometimes. Barely, but measurably, in my experience anyway. It's been a long time since I was making shorts, but that's the way I remember it being, was like if you just kept at it and you were consistent, you would see it slowly. It was like the cutoff point would move up very slowly. But that, who knows? That could just be because your audience is bigger.
Well, it's funny because I've been uploading slightly more shorts than usual recently, and actually my shorts are doing way worse now. I did this cool one about my Reddit story that I recently experienced, and that one didn't go out to fucking anybody. It was pretty crazy. I'll tell you the story real quick. Basically, I did the interview with Bronson, and we talked about Sierra Online games, and I went to Reddit, the Sierra Reddit, and I was like, all right, I'm going to check the rules. I'm not breaking anything. Check the rules. Everything's good. Posted that video to that Reddit, instantly removed by moderators for whatever reason. My account was too new, didn't have enough upvotes for because I didn't go to other subreddits and comment and farm upvotes or whatever. And so I got automatically removed. So I made a short about that, and that basically went out to nobody. I think only Drac saw it. So shout out to Drac.
Huh. That is called big Reddit censorship. They shut that down. They didn't want people to realize that the rules are a little bit strangulation, because they are. Some of these Reddit rules are literally strangulation. Nobody, I get some rules, but some of these subreddits rules are so strenuous that it's like, dude, I'd have to know life it on Reddit to meet your qualifications to post one video. It's not worth my time. It's just not worth it.
Right. And this subreddit that I posted to, it was pretty small, and the rules themselves, they were not crazy. Like, hey, don't post like AI t-shirt posts, which makes sense. And it's like,
makes sense.
Don't be mean to people. I forgot the other two one, but it was pretty just low ball stuff like that.
So this was just moderators making a call, basically, and being like, nah.
What I think happened was they had an auto moderator thing, and it's pretty much just like, hey, your account isn't either this old or you don't have enough total upvotes on your account, so just any post you make, it automatically get blocked. I'm sure I could probably go to the moderators and tell them hey, can you pretty please unblock my account? I'm a real person, I swear. I think this is content you guys will like, but also I don't have time for that shit. I don't have time to beg people to unblock my video.
Right. Agreed.
So, Yep. Well, enough complaining about Reddit. Let's talk about Embers Adrift.
Okay,
that was a huge part, or a big chunk of your whatever,
of my content. Yeah, I really liked it. I still like Embers Adrift. I think it's a great game that just should have, regardless of how the developers feel, they should have went a little bit more high fantasy. That's really its only downfall. It's not its only downfall, but it is the main problem that the game is having, and why it can't find its audience, because it's a good looking game. Its gameplay loop is very old school, and I would say very fun. It's got a lot of cool new ideas that I really like.
We called it an idea factory at one point.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. Like, and I'm sure they've done way more since I last played them. I'm not even aware of, but it's very difficult for me to play an MMO, honestly, and if it doesn't have goblins, magic, races, stuff like that, just feels like that's it's like when Starfield released and there was no aliens. Like, what are you doing? Like, why would you do that? That's crazy. Nobody wants real space. Nobody wants that.
Yeah, real space is boring.
That's boring. That's like a bunch of science crap, that we had to sit through class and learn about. We want aliens. We want the fantasy element, and I think Embers also, and love that development team. Nicest people in the world. They treated me like absolutely. Actually, out of all development teams I've worked with, nobody treated me as well as the Embers Adrift team. They treated me like I was Asmongold. You know what I mean? Like I was just, this super important, awesome guy, and treated me so well. So I love those guys, and I really appreciate, releasing this game, they had some horrible development things happen making this game. But they released it, and I think they did a really good job considering the hurdles they had to jump through to get this game out. And I really appreciate them, but you can't not have fantasy elements. There's just certain ones you have to have.
Yeah, and I feel like that's why I'm pretty sure a lot of people, including Drac, even though he tried his best getting through it with his 10,000 arrows.
Yeah.
That was their biggest crutch, is like, I want to be a magic user. I want to be scrumming it up, as you see right here. Everyone's just in melee, beating it with a stick.
Yeah. Yeah, that hurt it a lot. And that was the majority of the negative comments I got, was like, wow, 6 dudes gathered around beating something, like that's the game. And I always play melee almost. Sometimes I play a wizard, but mostly I play melee 95% of the time. So, and this class close enough to paladin. It was close enough that I felt like I was playing a paladin. So I kind of had my class, and I'm okay with playing a human. That doesn't bother me, but it does bother me that I don't see ogres and gnomes, halflings and elves. And, I want to, even if I'm playing a human, I want to see those in my world, and they had opportunities. Like they could have made it to where like the elves lived on the moon, right? And then all this weird stuff. And now there's teleportation devices that are connecting the moon with the earth. And now the elves start coming down, and now it's a playable race. There was opportunities to introduce that.
I feel like making an elf is super easy too. Just make them green or blue or purple or whatever flavor you want, and then put some sharp ears on them. Done. Easy.
Yeah, make them a little taller. And remember, they did that one race that did, spoiler alert, come from the moon. Remember those? They were a bad guy. I can't think of. They were lanky looking.
Others?
No, not the others. It was a weird lanky looking creature, and it was added not long after I quit playing the game. And it was in a new zone. They were humans, but they weren't elves. But they could have. What I'm saying is, I wish I could remember what those were called.
You're talking about like the Nocturne?
Yes. So they could have used that, which was really just probably a morph kind of thing happening on the previous existing human model. They could have used that so they look like they got their own kind of body structure. Throw some ears on them, baby, and let's go. Now we got 2 races. We doubled the races.
And a lot of people will play an elf, even if it's just human with pointy ears. They'll still play an elf. They'll still
play it, yeah, because I'm an elf now. That's what I want to do, Lizard race would have been epic. By the way, I think if you're going to go all out and you're going to add one more race, elf is kind of a cop out. It'd been better than nothing, but it is a little bit of a cop out. A lizard or a reptile type race, I think that's really. I don't know why, but think that that's almost mandatory at some point. You got to have a reptilian race, you know? There's too many people in the elite that are reptiles for you not to have. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I was just imagining you like trail off. Listen, there's lizard people there. It's like, hold on, whoa, we gotta get back to the MMO. I don't want to get canceled. I want to get that YouTube note on this video. It's like, listen, lizard people. That's a common conspiracy theory. It's like, we're aware. YouTube, we're aware.
Yeah, tongue in cheek. YouTube, tongue in cheek.
Yeah, listen, we're Joshers over here. We like to joke and have fun, have a good time.
Yeah. But this was my favorite camp that's showing right now because we were fighting something kind of, a little bit fantasy, right? You're fighting these chameleon guys.
Cool too, because like you see with the dead one, like they lose their color when they die. And
they all had different patterns on their skin. They were all a little different. There was a huge variation of them. So this was my favorite camp spot because there were some other cool creatures that were starting to get fantasy, by the way. There was a few. But this was a good camp for XP, and also it was feeding my desire for something a little bit more fantasy. And I was really, honestly, trying to use my little bit of influence I had to push the devs into fantasy, to get the magic in the game, to, add goblins, something, give us something. Their lore was set up in a way to where this world could have anything in it. It's not like this was a completely conquered world, right? Like the lore was they had just got here and were starting to make little settlements and expand outward. So it wouldn't be a shock to find insert race here that already lived and had civilizations. And it felt like the lore was leading to that,
I mean, you had like the others and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Those like creepy creatures that when you get close enough, they would disappear. I think there's a new raid dungeon called Ibaxis or whatever. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I never got to do any of that content because we just got burnt out.
Yeah.
We would just show up for raids and we would do the raids, and like I kind of said on another podcast, it's I really enjoyed hanging out with one half of the people there, and the other half I did not like being around them at all. And it was just like, and those people were there for the raids, and it was just like sucked up all the fun.
Yeah,
it was just showing up at the DMV and putting in my ticket to making me get some loot, basically.
Yeah, and I played a lot of MMOs like that. To be honest, that's how Throne and Liberty became. Except for I enjoyed everybody who was there, but I mean, just showing up for raid night, we do our raid. That was it for Throne and Liberty for me for the week. I show up, we do the raid. That's it. We're done.
And then we try to do like other stuff, and then we'd be like, "Oh, hey, this is going to be PvP for 3 seconds," and we're all dead instantly because everyone's wiped.
Yeah, because we're not going to do the pay to win, so therefore we're going to get wiped. So that'll kill an MMO. The end game is usually what kills an MMO. To be honest, it becomes work, and then pretty quickly the human psyche will say, I don't want another job. So I'm not going to do this anymore.
I've come this close to making a video that's like just like the raid set up in jargon, like, all right, how many druids do we have? We have 3 druids. Okay. All right, Charles Marxus, can you pull Wiener Butt? Can you make sure that you have it covered? Deal with the ads on phase 2.
Yeah. That's how it is now.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is.
And there's no getting away from that. Meta is here to stay. That's, it is what it is. The only way I can see that we avoid this and we have a fun end game, all right? There's going to be people who hear this and they're going to say, you can't do that. You can't do that. We have a problem, though, right? And the only solution I can think of is we just got to stop making content for people who are ridiculous, right? Like we just got to stop. It's just got to go back to being fun again. If that means it's really easy for those people who are maxed out gear and going with the perfect party, and it's just it's easy for them, and they're going to quit playing because it's too easy, because now it's more geared to be fun, and that you don't have to do all this min maxing and play the meta to do it, then so be it, because those people don't stay in your game anyway. They are your biggest complainers. They're your biggest problem causers, quarrelers, if you will, is my new favorite word. Thanks to Monsters and Memories. So just who cares? You don't need those people. The people you want are the people who are here just to hang out with their bros and or sisters or whatever, right? You might have to take that out. You might have to take that out.
No, I'll keep it.
Okay. That was not meant to be taken in any kind of negative way.
Listen, Nathan has black friends.
Yeah.
We know Llama. We're cool.
To be fair, I hang out with mostly non-whites all day, every day. So gotta give me a small break. But anyway, you got to focus on the people who are there just to have fun and enjoy the game. And if you focus on them, you'll be the life of your MMO will be longer. And I understand as a developer, you're like, but that's too easy. 46% of people are clearing this. We've got to make it harder. It's not supposed to be cleared. It's supposed to take time and effort, and we want this to be really hard. And I get it. But you're a developer. Your brain doesn't work like a player. A player just wants to have fun. That's it. That's the point of video games. We've forgotten that. It's not about, well, for some people it is. You got your Souls players and stuff, and if it's not hard as, nails, then they're not going to play. But that is not the majority, especially for the MMORPG crowd. We're just there to hang out, have a good time, hopefully get some new gear, go back to RNG for the difficulty, and go away from the meta. That's my opinion. Let the meta people slaughter it. Who cares? Let them slaughter it. Let it be easy for them and hard for regular people who are just like, oh, we don't even have a healer. Oh, well, let's just go have fun. They're not going to beat it. I'm not saying make it beatable that easy. But I'm just saying they can go and still have fun, right? It's not just going to be a one-shot kill and that's it, right? They can still go and attempt and learn something about the battle, or try to get to phase 2 or whatever, right? Just let people have fun.
You know what? They can have those super ultra sweat lords. They can get world first, and you know what they'll get? A freaking Reddit post. You know what that means? Absolutely freaking nothing at the end of the day.
And let them have it. I have no problem with that. Yeah. If you're playing the game at that level, you deserve that. You deserve to have the credits and the kudos for being world first and all that. And I've never been one to try. Rarely have I been the kind to try for that. There's been a couple times. But it doesn't hurt me, right? I'm not like, oh man, they min-maxed and they beat it. Of course they did. They played the game to its finest level, and of course, they got what they came for, and that's fair.
I feel like the difference though between what we're talking about MMOs and Dark Souls is that I feel like Dark Souls it's tough but fair a lot of the times. I mean, there's some BS fights in there. Don't get me wrong, but you're not doing the same content over and over and over and over again in Dark Souls either, unless you're an insane person.
Yeah, and Dark Souls is a single player game, right? So you can get away, and I think that's I personally can enjoy that by myself. Getting my butt kicked, getting a little further, etc. But when I want to play with my friends, I'm in a different mindset. I want everybody to have a good time. I don't ever want to be in a group and everybody's like, this sucked. That was horrible. I'm in a worse mood now than I was before I logged in. Right. I don't want that.
You don't want your person playing the MMO being like this, like, all right, what did I get? Am I winning anything? No, okay. See you next week.
Yeah, exactly. There's no point. That person's not going to stay. They're going
But
to
then
go
on the other
elsewhere.
end, imagine a raid that was entirely After Dark-esque people. 20 people all in a raid. Everyone's goofing and gaffing and yelling at Daimlos. That sounds great. In fact,
Yeah.
that's kind of what my classic WoW raids were. Because I met this group of people and I lost contact with them sadly. But they're all After Dark-esque. They're all fun. There was this guy. His name was like something Storm, and he would hit evocation, and every time he hit it, he would scream at the top of his lungs, "Evocation!"
That's so sad. Have a good time. And did you guys clear things?
We did clear things.
There you go.
But we hit
Blackwing
Lair, and then the guild fell apart.
Yeah, well, that can happen too. It is what it is. But worth mentioning, unless you've played that a lot and it's old news, it's real easy because you've got that memorized like the back of your hand. I'm not saying that's hard content because it's not, but it is if you haven't done it before or if you haven't done a lot, right? Like it was hard content when it released.
I feel like that's another problem with these, like, I hate to say it, but like neck beard sweat lords is that they'll often come into stuff like that and be like, "Oh, Blackwing Lair, that shit's easy. The first encounter Blackwing Lair is easy," and it's like, yeah. And Ninja Gaiden on the Nintendo is easy if you've played it a million times.
Right. Yeah.
But if you gave either of us Ninja Gaiden and said, "All right, can you beat it?" The answer is we could get to the final area, but we probably couldn't beat it because that game is brutal.
Right. You know what I would say is the hardest game that I would struggle the most playing right now? That I would actually be so bad at it that I probably wouldn't even do it. I'd be like, nah, I'm not going to play. It would be that hard. The hardest game.
Sort of Sodan.
No, harder. Okay. Much harder. Dance Dance Revolution, because I'm out of shape.
That would be that's peak streaming though. You'd be pouring sweat after one song.
Dude, yeah, I would probably be 1/4 through the song and be like, guys, my hair would be all in my face, all emo style.
You'd be losing to Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Yeah, it'd be a simple song where you just got to do like a few movements per minute, So I'm just saying, right? Like people have a certain skill level on certain things, and there's nothing wrong with Blackwing Lair. That was a great raid. I think it's maybe there was better ones. The Lich King, what was that called? The
ICC, Ice Crown Citadel.
Yeah, Ice Crown Citadel. That's probably, in my opinion, peak, but I didn't play a lot of the later raids, so I could be way off base here. But I do feel like after that, just like Final Fantasy XIV, just like all the MMOs, they had to make it harder and harder. And to make it harder, you just make more mechanics. You make it more streamlined, and it has to be just right. And fun begins to go away,
And what you described is pretty much my raiding experience in 14. I used to do Savages and Stormblood.
Me too.
And one party member moved for half a second to the left. It's a wipe. Got to start the 12-minute fight all over again. It's just not fun.
It's not fun anymore. Yeah, it's fun for a little while. Like if there's like one piece of content like that, but it's not necessary. It's just for the elites. And I know MMOs try this, but if you just could separate that really well, then I think it might be kind of okay. Because if I didn't feel like, because it got Final Fantasy 14, we went hard. Me and my wife went hard on that game, and we were doing the end game, and we were trying to keep up with the Joneses.
What expansion?
We went. She went further than me. I went up to. I only made to Heavensward. By Heavensward, I was like, it's starting to get annoying to me. That's when I stopped. So I didn't go as far, but she went, I don't remember now. She went really far, many, many expansions later. And she loved it. She actually had a blast, but my wife is okay with losing for absolutely any reason. You know what I mean? Like if it's one person's fault, she's not mad. You know what I mean? She still had fun. She's one of those people, right? And I can be too, but for me, it became like I had to do all this homework. You know what I mean? Like we can't even go into the raid yet until I've done all this homework on every single fight, right? Before I've even tried it. You know, I have to know all these things. We can't just go in and experience it and learn as we go, because that would take so long that we'd be already on the next set of raids by the time we even got to phase 2. You know, so I don't know. I think it's a little much. I think that there's too many mechanics. We need some mechanics, but not as many. It's getting outrageous. It's just getting outrageous.
I feel like they should have just like one thing that's like, hey, this is for the sweat lords. Go sweat it up, sweat lords. But the majority of the content should be for the people.
Yes, yeah, and they're concentrating on the sweat lords.
Yeah,
and that's not working out for MMOs. You know, MMOs are literally dying because sweat lords can't support your MMO RPG. You know.
Yeah. Well, while we're here, this is the infamous hunting lizard people, which, if you don't know, started Blue Chew. This is going to be a world first. I found footage, Nathan, of someone actually ingesting Blue Chew. Are you ready for this?
Oh wow, yeah, I am. Which I thought was a chewing gum until that stream. That's when I found out that it was not chewing gum. Oh my goodness! Oh my gosh, it's Steve-O. Yeah, I'm ready.
Cialis.
Oh,
and
it is chewable.
Hard as a rock. I've tried it many times and I absolutely love it. You know who else loves it? When I take one, Lux, because when I show her my blue tongue, she's jumping for joy because she knows she's going to get drilled in a serious way. So I'll tell you about this because not only is it a lot of fun.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, it's enough. It's enough of that. All right. Well, I'm not going to do that. It'd be dangerous probably for me, but I am going to just get like maybe some candy that's blue and just see if I can show my wife a blue tongue and see if I get the same result without having to do the chemicals in the Blue Chew. And I still think the real industry isn't Blue Chew. The real industry, the real money isn't in Blue Chew. It's in Pink Chew. That's where we got to get. We got to get to Pink Chew. That's where the money's at.
Explain yourself.
I can't. We'll be banned.
So it's like you take 2 roast beef slices and you mash them together.
Yeah, and
Blue Chew for that, the pink.
Yeah, like like turning on a faucet, like hey,
oh, I get,
because I feel like there's, and I could be wrong. This could just be from my own personal life, okay, and maybe I'm wrong, but I do feel like the majority of men are facing the opposite problem. Okay, we're doing all kinds of things, right? We're spending probably, I'm making up a number here, my rough estimation, hundreds of dollars a week to get this event, okay? Flowers, dinner, all these things, which means you could charge $50 for one Pink Chew and it would still be economically beneficial, right? It would be the cheaper option.
Net positive.
It'd be a net positive at $50 per Pink Chew. That's why I say I think that's where the money is. Now, I'm not suggesting a Cosby situation here. She knows she's in on it, right? There's no secrets, right? Like, it's her prescription, I'm not
just
suggesting.
Like when a man ingests Blue Chew,
right?
He knows what's going to happen. He didn't think it was a Smartie or something.
Right. He didn't just take a drink of his tequila and was like, whoa, why is this happening to my body? I'm not suggesting that. I'm saying, the right way. But I do think that, that's probably a common problem and we could have a solution for that. I'm sure we could.
All right. Well, You know what? I think that's all you can really say about Blue Chew. All right.
That's it. Yeah.
Monsters and Memories.
All right.
Let me get some footage up. But yes, monsters, and as I like to say, memories. Oh, there we go.
I gotta say, dude, I'm
What?
gonna say it here first. I'm having more fun playing Monsters and Memories than Pantheon.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it. I am. I'm having more fun now. It is just became available. It could be honeymoon, but I don't think so, man. I've really put a lot of thought into this. I know a lot of people, they're like, "Ooh, those graphics are bad," though. I don't think so, man. I think these are I think it's beautiful. I actually think this game is beautiful.
This is an older test, by the way. This isn't
really
recent graphics.
Right.
What's interesting is that if you were to compare like Pantheon and Monsters and Memories from like a third person who doesn't really follow each game, they'd probably be like, wow, I think Monsters and Memories is more boring because they're just sitting in one spot, killing the same things over and over. Actually, on that same level, an old friend of mine who checks out my streams sometime, I was talking with him and he saw my Monsters of Memory stream last Thursday and he was like, dude, I'm so disappointed in you that you're playing that. I know your skill level and you just playing a game where you just attack, you just go there and you just hit attack every like 3 seconds. I'm like, listen, I'm playing a bard. There's a lot more going on that you don't see. I swear to
God. Right. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, from a viewer only standpoint, I could see almost anything being better. But when I'm playing it though, I don't know, man. It is what I wanted. You know what I mean? Like it is exactly what I wanted from an MMO. I did want good graphics. Not gonna lie, I did want that originally, but Pantheon stole that dream from me too. You know what I mean? Right. So I've kind of just moved on from that dream. That's just probably not part of the reality of my life that I'm going to get. So since I've already moved on from that anyway, Monsters and Memories feels like a game that is coming along faster with more things and more classic MMO love and not trying to please people that aren't me. You know what I mean? Like, or think like me. It feels like it's just, this is the game that is being designed for me and people like me.
I feel like the only downside is that I feel like a lot of people who aren't EverQuest veterans, they're going to have, not to say that if you've never played EverQuest, you will not find any enjoyment in Monsters Memories. I just think there's just going to be a bigger hurdle for you to get over because
Agreed.
There's a lot of obtuseness with a lot of stuff. I like to complain about the mud system. I like to complain about buffs. You can't see debuffs and buffs on mobs or on your party members, which is kind of annoying. So you have a lot of like obtuseness in that way. You also drop your spell book. That's another popular one.
Yeah. Yeah, it has its share of problems, but I think overall, though, it's delivering for definitely EverQuest fans. And I feel like Pantheon has moved more somewhere between EverQuest and World of Warcraft Classic. It's somewhere leaning closer to World of Warcraft Classic, you know, which is fine. I still have fun playing Pantheon, but I'm going to say it again. I don't think Pantheon will be what it is today. Brad McQuaid was alive. It would be different. It would lean much closer to the EverQuest or Vanguard or what have you.
I'm going to bring this up, and this is going to start some fights. Do you think 247 would have happened if Brad McQuaid was still alive?
No way. No.
There you go.
Not at all. That would shock me. That would literally shock me if that would have happened under his watch. I'm not surprised it happened. I'm not talking bad about anybody on the development team. I love Visionary Realms, but as a developer, without somebody who really has their feelers for real, touching the community and not in a way where they're only hearing what they want to hear, but they're actually in the roots of that. And Brad McQuaid was, because he created those roots, right? So he knew the depths of our nerdity, right? And I think the current development team, they understand it, but they're not. But it's not in their grasp anymore, right? Like it's like loose fingers holding it. Whereas Brad McQuaid created those. You can't compete with that.
And I feel like, God, I had a point. I already lost it. We're getting old as hell. We're gonna be up in that retirement home playing whatever game.
One of these,
hopefully. Oh no, that was I remember the my kind of pipe dream. It's basically a fantasy, you know. It's fiction. It'll probably never happen, but a AAA studio comes in and says, "Hey, we're gonna trust the process that we're gonna put all this money to actually fully develop an MMO without any cash outs, just a subscription, all that jazz, and get it through." Because I think it might pull. It might. I don't know. Like I said, it's a fantasy.
Yeah, and if it's the right IP too, right? I think that would matter now. I think it would be difficult with a new IP. However, let's take something like, I know it's been done before. Ignore the past for a second. Warhammer, right? Like that's an IP that definitely, even the old one, I believe, should not have been shut down. And I think that the emulator server for that is fantastic, etc. But that would be a great one. Really, like that would be a really good IP to do that in. Or, StarCraft, another one that I think it wouldn't go old school. But, I'm just saying IPs that could do a really cool MMO for sure. StarCraft is prime time. You know who really should do it? You know who really, really, really should do an old school MMO? And they got everything just literally laying at their feet. Carpet has been rolled out. Everybody would try it, guaranteed to make their money back, right? Regardless of the budget. And we pathetically have not gotten a decent MMO out of them. And that's going to hurt some people's feelings, but I don't care. I'm going to say it. They have not gotten a real MMO before. Dungeons and Dragons. It drives me insane. It drives me insane. Yep. All these games that we love, Monsters and Memories, EverQuest, Ultima Online, Final Fantasy XI, they were all based off of Dungeons and Dragons. They were trying to replicate that formula into a multiplayer game. That was the whole point. And yet, we've got DDO, which, it is what it is. It's not an MMO. I'm sorry. It's a lobby.
It's serviceable.
It makes sense for Dungeons and Dragons, though. You get your little group together, you go through you go do a dungeon or whatever, adventure. Just like you would. Yeah, you have your little adventure just like you would if you were around a table. Makes sense, but it's not enough. It's not enough. We need grander, a real living world, right? Forgotten Realms comes alive with real people running around, having random adventures and random good times. And it literally keeps me up at night that has not ever happened.
And you know what? There's so many spin-offs. You have like Pathfinder, you have so many D&D adjacent things that you could use the IPs of,
Agreed. Yeah. Any of them could do it too. They could, Pathfinder would be a great one. It's like D&D started this whole thing, and yet all we've got out of them is DDO, and I'm not going to mention the other one. I am going to say it out loud. Neverwinter is trash. That's like one of the worst ones.
Is that game even still alive anymore?
It is. You know what else is still alive? And I couldn't believe it because they said they were shutting it down.
What?
Terra is still available on consoles.
What?
I literally didn't believe it because I remember when it shut down. So I'd literally just last night seen it was showing up, and I was like, no. So I went to the game page. You could still download it. So I literally downloaded it just to see, because I don't like that game, but and it's still around somehow on consoles somehow.
You want to hear something even crazier? I just found out about this from the Bronson interview. That's right. We're going to talk. I'm going to mention that interview at least 20 more times. He worked on the quote unquote first MMO that had instanced dungeons. It was called The Realm Online. It was from like 1996.
Played that.
Really?
Yeah, it was. Honestly, Dark Age Camelot pretty much stole that idea. It was dang well near that same idea.
But do you know what happened to The Realm Online?
I have no idea.
A fan bought the rights to the game or whatever, and it's still up. If you go to the website, you still just download it through there. It's still going after all these years, which is amazing.
Wow. I did not know it had instanced dungeons. I did not know that.
I didn't know either, but according to Bronson, it was quote the first game with instances. So
okay. Well, you know what they say about Blizzard? They don't invent anything. They just take an idea and they take it to the next step and bring it to the masses. That's what they're good at, you know?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Obviously, you're excited for Monsters and Memories. Any other MMOs that you're excited for? Probably not. Aside from Pantheon.
Not really. Yeah. Not really. I mean, I'm looking at all of them. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking at all of them just in case. Arcage, the new one, it's probably going to be trash, right? Very low expectations, like about as low as it could possibly get.
Sucked.
Yeah. So, but I'm still looking forward to it happening because we, our choices are, we're in a dark time for MMOs.
MMO players are hungry for MMOs.
If somebody just released a half decent one, honestly, even if it wasn't my style, right? Just a good, solid MMO, even if it was built for super modern people, but it was high quality. I don't see how it could not succeed, right? So, and a lot of people are like, no, that's been tried. New World was not high quality. Okay, there was
New
parts
World was
of
a
it.
fucking mess.
Yes,
that was things because remember they were talking about like, oh hey, we're gonna add like cash shop stuff and level experience boost at the start. It was pretty dumb.
The whole process was pretty bad. Remember they did the open beta and everybody was really mad and they were like, okay, we're redoing the whole game. This New World was literally what happens when people who do not play games make an MMO. It was really obvious.
That makes a lot of sense because if you don't play games, but you're like, oh, this game has a cash shop where you can buy experience boost. Obviously, we're gonna have it in our game too. That's a bad idea. Oh, I guess it's a bad idea. What do I know?
Yeah. Well, weird because everybody else did it, guys. Anyway, back to the drawing board. It turns out they don't like that. So we'll take it out of our game, and they kept doing that flip flopping on literally everything. Like, oh, it's going to be a PvP game. Never mind. No, it's not. Well, sort of it is. Okay. Well, you don't like that. Okay, we'll take that away. Oh, trading. We're going to make it to where a marketplace. Oh wait, it's broke every day. Never mind. Take that away. Like, geez, guys. Like literally, people are breaking their marketplace every day. Like it was like, guys, you can't store a marketplace anywhere but your server. Like, how many times are you going to try this before you realize that people will scam it? Right? Like, obviously. New World was a disaster. Throne and Liberty was, a good fun.
There was a good core in there. There was a good base in there. Just the monetization stuff, it just ruined it, And then you had guilds 100%. The sweat lords who just cared about being number one, so they don't care if they drop $10,000 on a game as long as they are number one and they can kill people with one press of a button.
Yeah,
that's just stupid.
Great guild raids, though. Great idea. Like, everybody gets to come. Who cares? It's just a good time. There was mechanics and all the things, but it probably got crazy by now. I don't know. But when we were playing it, yeah, it got difficult. But like everybody can come. Like don't worry about it. Yeah, I had a blast. That was a ton of fun.
And Steve would say his like little catchphrases like Taco Bell Blast or whatever he would say. He'd say stuff like that.
Yeah. So and what else have we had recently? What is that about it? It feels like that's about it.
There was another MMO recently, but I can't think of it. Besides like Ashes, what was it? There's another MMO.
That one that's out on Steam. Hang on, I want to figure out what it is. It launched maybe about 6 months ago. What was that one? The one that just appeared out of freaking nowhere.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's like a borderline scam.
Yeah, but it is out, and I have too many Steam games. I'm trying to find it here because I did buy it.
You want to have let's have some fun. Let's go to Steam.
PAX
to the
Day
MMO category. Oh, PAX Day.
That's the game I was thinking about. It's in early access or whatever, but it's playable now. Oh, we're gonna actually do this live. We're gonna look up all the MMOs.
Look up MMO categories.
Look at this. Where even is it now? It used to be on the top shelf.
Yeah. Expand. You have to.
We gotta expand it now to see the MMO category. I still don't see it.
I don't see it either. MMO.
Oh my gosh, they took it off. It's not even on here, dude.
It's in here somewhere. I swear to God, I've been here before. I've looked at it.
I have too. It used to be here not long ago, a few months ago. It's gone now, dude.
Massively no. Uh-oh.
It's gone, dude. They took it off.
Maybe if I just click cat. No. Like maybe it's.
They had to make room for farm.
Maybe that's the problem. There we go. Massively multiplayer. Here we go.
Okay. All right. So you got to go to the tags.
Browse all 14,000. All right. Let's see what they have. Not an MMO.
Well, not an MMO.
Not an MMO.
No.
Nope.
Nope.
Okay, that's an MMO. All right. That's 1 point. You can
99 cents.
99 cents. Okay.
Good deal.
Not an MMO.
Nope.
Not an MMO.
Nope.
Don't even know what that is. That's some furry game.
That's definitely.
I don't know what the hell this even is. Okay, that's kind of an MMO. Okay, actual MMO. Yeah, we'll put a maybe on that one.
Yeah.
Maple Story.
And Maple University, nice.
And then let's scroll down. But yeah, it's like every time I do this, like VR chat's not an MMO. Get out of here. That's like saying Discord is an MMO. We're playing MMO right now in Discord.
Yeah. Yeah, these days if it's like, 4 people can play at the same time, MMO.
Yeah. It's just sad.
Yeah, look at this. Well, click on upcoming. Oh, here we go. Doing trending even better.
Oh, we'll do upcoming first. Aeon 2.
Oh, yeah. Aeon 2. Gonna be trash, but I will still try it. Just in case.
I don't think these are not MMOs.
Never heard of these.
No. Heat.
Oh, zombie. Oh, what's this? Misa Online. Misa like it.
That sounded like Steve or Dave. So it'd say Misa like it. MMO Misa like it. All right, let's go to what was it? New and trending?
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh, Shadowbane, baby! Look at that. Click on those screenshots. Let's blow that up a little bit. It's back, baby.
Oh, look at those screenshots.
Yeah, I remember when this was crazy.
Wow.
Shadowbane.
What a time to be alive.
Somebody watching this right now is excited. They're like, what? Shadowbane? It's free to play. I'm downloading. Somebody just quit watching and they're downloading Shadowbane right now.
Listen, before you quit watching, like the video or whatever.
Yeah. Well, we should have said it before you showed that.
Damn
it's too late. They're gone. They're
already
gone.
We already lost them. Damn it. We had one opportunity and we lost it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
That Dragon Traveler.
This is definitely not an MMO you could play on any stream.
There's something about that game I can't quite put my fingers on it.
It's definitely not the NSFW or the hentai tag. It's definitely not those two things. Listen, it's a good game. You just gotta get past all the nudity and the sex first.
Yeah, like we're playing it for the story, obviously.
Yeah, you know, for the articles.
Yeah.
And a lot of these, like, it's like mostly negative, mixed.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, people are just hungry. They're hungry for a new good MMO. Or online game for a lesser extent.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
Alien Agent X. Okay, I have a feeling this might be.
Yeah, you know what? I saw one of the tags and I'm gonna go backwards.
Yeah, I think that might be for a special kind of person.
Listen, if you're a G out there and you like having adult games on your Steam profile and you let everyone see them, you're a more powerful person than I am. I
agree. That's true bravery, you know?
I wish I was that brave. I'm not that brave.
Yeah, I agree. So it's pretty rough out there, as you can see. But I you know what current MMO I actually think is not my kind of MMO, but I've still off and on played it forever, and it's looking like a pretty bright future right now. Elder Scrolls Online, man. Have you seen what they've been doing lately? They're redoing the classes. The Dragon Knight's been redone. The Werewolf, where you can be a werewolf, has been redone. The two-hand skills line has been redone. They're redoing all the classes. Combat was always that game's problem. They're making major grounds to fix that. It is an MMO with public dungeons. It's a game that has good PvP, actually. It really does have everything. It just wasn't ever, the combat was just not good, right? As a PC player, you don't want to only have, I think, 6, if I'm remembering right, things to do. Yeah. You know, that's just, it's hard to really sink your teeth into it. You know what I mean? You need at least 12, right? And somebody's listening to that, they're like, you do get 12 because you can weapon swap. Okay, no, that's not what I'm talking. That's not the same thing. 12 class abilities, you know, not like, oh, if I switch my weapon, I get 6 more. That's a cop out, you know?
Well, what's funny is that Gorgon, it did exactly what you did, where you choose 2 weapons and you had 12 or 6 for your main weapon and the other 6 for your other weapon type or class type or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, and what's up with that being announced, by the way, when they announce a new MMO and they're like, no levels. You level up your weapon. Like, okay, guys, that's not new. That's the oldest trick in the book. It would actually be more crazy for you to just say it's a tab target MMORPG with classes. That's way more revolutionary by now. Everybody wants to do that. I'm so tired of the weapons.
Every time I hear no levels, I hear they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
it's like it's so lofty. You can do whatever you do. Do you wanna like make chairs as a living? You can in our game because there's no limit. You could do whatever you want. Hey, you want to go to the moon? Build a rocket ship and go to the moon? Be my guest. You could do that.
Yeah. How about we get away from you can do anything because that's not working? All right. Yeah. How many times do we have to learn the same lesson before we're like, A, nobody believes you. B, you're full of crap and it's not true. And C, it's not even exciting to hear that anymore. Let's go back to like, hey, we got classes and they're fun.
And they have unique stuff about them.
Yeah. And you'll feel like that. You when you play Wizard, it's because now it's like, oh, you know, you can level up your player, right? And I forgot what games do. Oh, Final Fantasy 14 is going to do this with their new expansion. They just announced. I don't know if you've seen that. Ice something. Their new expansion is coming next year, and they announced it's not about the class levels. It's about your level. And all the classes are that level. So And I'm talking about item level here, right?
Oh my God. That is so dumb.
That's a horrible idea.
That takes, so remember in OG early 14, I don't know how long they kept doing this, you got a special decorative or cosmetic crown for getting all the classes for that game or for that expansion to the max level. And I did it for Realm Reborn and Heavensward. And I had my special Heavensward crown or whatever. And now everyone will just have it now. Listen, everyone's the T-Ball award nowadays.
Yeah, that's the way I understood it. And I rewound it and re-listened like, no, that can't be right, because that's going to take away a lot of people playing the game, right? Like, it's a lot of joy people have is leveling up other classes, and you're taking that away. But that is what they're doing.
I feel like the problem with the developers is they're not finding that sweet spot. They're either focusing too much on the sweat lords, or they're worried about, hey, it's the dad with 10 kids and he works 8 different jobs and he has 30 minutes to play a week. We need to think about him. He only has 30 minutes a week to play video games. And I'm in a position where I'm just like, hey, it's okay if he can't play video games. It's okay if he just plays Balatro or Wordle once a week, whatever.
I am currently that guy, right? I have very minute time. But when I have 1 hour, what I really crave to do is play a game that's hard to level up and takes a long time. I still crave it. Like, yeah, it's going to be slower for me because if I only got 30 minutes, but that's still what I want. It doesn't matter that I'm going to be behind everybody. It's that I'm making some progress when I have time to, and that feels good. That feels good.
Right, exactly.
So it's pretty bad, because if we're going to lose the genre, we'll still have our monsters and memories. Most likely, we're going to have our Pantheon, so we'll get what we need out of it. But I don't see this being passed on to future generations. The MMO is not.
We'll see. Maybe Aldrin Online will capture the youth somehow.
It might. It really might. It has a decent shot at it.
But you're right. There might be a time where, because I'm sure you've experienced this, or at least know about people who experience this, who have dads and they just watch old Western shows like The Rifleman, and they'll just be like, hey, we'll just put them in a room and they'll watch The Rifleman or whatever, but it'll just be, hey, we'll put them in a room and they'll play EverQuest or Monsters and Memories or whatever game, and they'll be happy. We don't get why they love it so much, but they do.
Yeah, just let them do their old person thing, that nobody else cares about.
Bag,
Yeah, like I knew an elderly lady when I was young, and she every day, all her free time, played the original Legend of Zelda over and over again. That's all she played. She didn't have no interest. I was like, hey, Ocarina of Time's really good. You want to try it because it was new? No interest. None. Zero. Zip.
Did you even suggest other Nintendo games?
No, I didn't think of that, to be honest.
You could have blown her mind open with Mario.
Maybe. Mario Brothers 3 especially probably would have blew her mind. No, I was always just being like, you should have really, because Ocarina of Time was pretty fresh and new and it was the crazy thing, Yeah. I was like, you should have really tried this. I'll let you borrow my 64. No interest. And, I think we'll be that. We'll be the grizzled old men. Hopefully playing Monsters and Memories, hopefully not still playing EverQuest. Hopefully. I mean, I don't know how everybody else is feeling, but
I would be surprised if Daybreak is still kicking when we're old, because they don't make the greatest decisions. I mean, maybe the Legend server will do really well, but they lost a lot of goodwill with the Hero's Journey for sure.
Yeah, they sure did. Which, I'm in the opinion they had the right to do that. It's their IP. I'm not saying that it was a good move or smart.
I feel like the problem is that they did it way too quickly. Like the second it got settled, they were like, all right, it's ours now. We won it. It's ours. We're going to do it now. Screw you.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot better tactical ways, knowing how much people enjoyed it, to do that. They could have made their own and then like transitioned everybody over into it. They could have just, I think anyway, they could have legally just took it, what was already there, and just said it's ours now, literally, but it's still, here you go. You can still enjoy it. That would have been the smartest move. Put it in a P99 category. Right. I would even say if I was them and I owned the IP and my investors were all up my butt about all these players playing P99 and insert any EverQuest simulator here. I would even say why not make a new bracket that's like, hey guys, you like P99, you like this, that, and the third. Cool, we're putting it under our umbrella because we own the IP, and that's not fair for us not to be in control of our own IP. Hopefully you understand. But we also understand that you were getting this for free. We're going to charge you for it, but very low, right?
Yeah, like
$1, $2
like
a month.
$3. So I think $3 is a pretty low. It's like,
right.
Hey,
the cost of a coffee.
Yeah,
we're keeping the servers up. It doesn't cost us much, right? We're not expanding the servers. We're not making a huge upgrade. It's just going to be exactly how it was. But we got to make money off our IP. That's what's fair is fair. The cost of a coffee a month, right? And you can keep playing your P99 and all the other offshoot servers under our umbrella, and we start getting some income from that. I would think that I wouldn't be mad at that. I'd be like, cool. That's actually awesome in a way, not super awesome, but it's understandable.
It sucks,
it's your
but
IP.
It's better than nothing. I feel like they could have just you're right. They could have handled that whole situation a little better. Like maybe
just gave people time.
Like maybe they could have come to like a midway point with the Hero's Journey team and been like, hey, you screwed up, but and like either like you keep the money or like we get half of your current money or something, but you will help us make our version of the Hero's Journey and then you'll be paid. That I feel like
you'll work for us.
Yeah, that's a better midpoint. And I feel like I don't know everything about the court case, but I feel like the Hero's Journey tried to maybe reach out and do something like that, but they didn't for whatever reason.
Probably, I'm going to guess that was an ego thing, right? Because like obviously these guys have some skill and they're able to do something that the core EverQuest crowd really liked. And now they are kind of in a way doing their own kind of spin-off thing with that. But these guys had already done it and people liked it. So why would you not just roll with that? But then again, I can also see the top level being like, but if we do that, more people are going to come and do the same thing because now we just rewarded people for doing something illegal. So there's a lot of ways to look at it, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a business person, but I am also just a street smart person. And I think there's better deals. There's better ways to deal with that. I think
100%. 100%.
I might have to sit and think in a shower for a week straight until I came up with the perfect answer. But
yeah.
That lawsuit's also hilarious because they cited a bunch of YouTube comments who said that they would never play anything Daybreak ever made ever again, and like that's the reason why it's cutting into their profits or something.
No, people are mad at Daybreak and have been mad at Daybreak since forever, right? Like since they've existed. And I think their turning point was obviously EverQuest Next, right? Like that's when everybody was like, okay, enough of this. And then they haven't done anything substantial in so long,
Well, what's crazy is that the best thing that they made was it was so half-assed, the friggin' Origin server, it could have been so good. And it did bring in some people who had never played EverQuest 2 before, but it was so half-assed, and it pisses me off so much that there was a package you could buy. It's not on the actual cash shop, it's like in that other side thing, and it had a mount, and so everyone had this stupid mount running around, and it was only a little bit slower than a level 50 with Bard speed. It was only a little slower than that. It's a teeny tiny bit slower, and that's stupid. You shouldn't have that level 1.
Yeah, and was that worth it at the end of the day, right? Like the amount of money they made, was that really worth it to kill the server eventually? Which didn't take that long either. So I just feel like that people are they're shooting for the quick buck with MMOs and not the long term.
They're always thinking about the short term profits and not the long term profits. And I've said that forever, even like back when I made my old Pantheon's Last Bastion video. Probably that was like 2022, 2023, around there when I made that video. It's unlisted, don't look for it. Yeah, I pretty much said the same thing, like companies, they just because they have these boards or these whatever that have all these investors, and the investors only care about one thing, and that's how much money am I making on this.
Yeah, now are we comping up from the previous quarter or year, right?
Yeah, so our percentage is up since last time.
One company, and I'm not saying they've made all the greatest decisions either, but one company that really does understand the long-term game is Square Enix with the Final Fantasy 11 and 14, right? Like they were trying to move past 11. They wanted everybody to go over to 14. It didn't work. And 11 keeps having these huge spikes in players every so often. It's like routine. And so they were done with 11. They were like, that's it. We're not making any more content. We're focused on Final Fantasy 14. Final Fantasy 14 was doing really good, but Final Fantasy 11 was still hanging in there. And they actually were like, okay, let's make new content. Like the players are still there. Let's support it. So they did. They made new content for it. And so many times they've been like, okay, that's it, guys. That's it. But then the players don't go away, and so they're like, "All right, we'll make more content,"
Which is sad, because if it was EA, they would have just shut it down. Like, hey, we're going to stay on content. We're going to shut down the servers. Deal with it.
Yeah, like Star Wars Galaxies, right? Like Disney got the rights and was like, shut that down because we want everybody to play the new Star Wars MMO. That's nothing like Galaxies, know. That's the best example of that. It was like, just shut it down. We don't care. We want everybody to play this new one, and they'll have no choice if they want to play Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars Galaxy was. I mean, the old plug was so good back into the beginning too, and it just really petered off. It's just sad.
Yeah, that's what happens. I don't know if you can really avoid your MMO slowly getting worse, because we've never had an example of it not happening. So I don't know if it's possible or not. There's always going to be some decision you made that seemed like a great idea on paper, but flops brutally.
Well, let's. I feel like that's a good time to start outering. Any advice for future content creators?
Oh, yeah. If you're wanting to get out here and make content, I got to say, it's all about finding however much time you have available and what can you contribute. I would also recommend building an audience, all right, through just good old making videos, right? And then, there's nothing wrong with live streaming the whole time, but just know that your audience size will be small because you're really going to gain a following from video content. The live streams will be people who already are a fan who show up. But you can do it either way, whatever you want to do. But I would advise make videos. And nobody will be watching for a while. Keep going. Keep releasing. Besides very, very lucky people who win the lottery, everybody starts out with not many views, right? And you just keep releasing videos, okay? The best you can do with the time that you have, just keep going. Don't stop. You'll find your audience, right? And you'll get better. And even if you would have never found your audience with what you were doing, you'll get better and you will find your audience, right? And once you got that, just don't give up, right? Just keep going. And it's a lot of fun. It's a hobby and or for some a career that is fulfilling. So it's worth pursuing.
Yeah. Great. And finally, any final message you want to leave with?
Sure. if there's anybody out there that needs to hear this, I just want to give a very special message. Don't try to slip in to life pink chew. It has to be known about. You have to, it has to be, both partners have to be aware, because it's going to happen one day. And I don't want to be the guy responsible for clips out there of like, this is the guy that caused the biggest horrible issue in the world today, who gave the idea for this pink chew thing, because I was not insisting that it be a Cosby situation. Okay.
It's so funny. You started that out and then you're going to be like, listen, you know, if you're in a rough spot, blah, blah, blah. All right. Anything you want to promo?
Yeah, Wednesday nights, we're doing that thing. So come out for that. Live streaming every Wednesday now, bouncing back and forth between Monsters and Mirrors and Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. And hopefully, soon I'll dig out another day until I'm streaming a little more.
Very interesting, very hype. Well, I think that'll do it for today. Thank you, the Nathan Napalm, for stopping on by. Appreciate you.
My pleasure.
We had a good time. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow, hit all the things. Tell your grandma. She won't understand. Just tell her anyways. And we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye, everybody.